Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
This week in Pembroke, Kentucky, 3 mysterious murders in one night get much less mysterious when detectives figure out that someone who looks very upstanding might not be so upstanding and may actually be a full-fledged monster. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another insane edition of Small Town Murder. And man, do we have a crazy one for you today. As usual, hope you've been enjoying lately. Definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets for live shows.
Here we go.
Pittsburgh, February 7th.
Yeah.
You are on deck. First up for the year. Let's start the year off right, Pittsburgh. Next night in Columbus is already sold out. So
unbelievable.
Thank you. And also the ones later on, Portland is like just about sold out, and that's in November. So get that. Seattle's getting close. Get your tickets there. Also, Philly and DC in December are getting there. So seriously, if you guys want to go this year, get your tickets right now. Everywhere except Pittsburgh, they're flying out the door. So do that. Get in there right now. That is shutupandgivememurder.com. Yeah. And then our newest date, we just announced, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey! Hey.
Now you know why we didn't announce it, because we announced like the day after they had a pretty bad thing happen in their town.
Thing.
So we didn't want to be like, hey, shut up and give me murder. Come into, We're decent people. As we say, we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. And,
we'll let that simmer down a little bit.
We'll let it have a little time to simmer on the back burner there. So definitely head over, get your tickets right now. Also, listen to the other two shows that we do, Crime in Sports, which I assure you, you do not have to like sports. We're doing China right now. Remember the wrestler China, Joni Laurer? We're doing terrific. A multi-parter on her right now with Evel Knievel coming up next. That's a lot of fun.
Great.
Then definitely do that. And also listen to Your Stupid Opinions, which is just goddamn hilarious. You can hear about me getting a concussion in a diner. It's a lot of fun. Check all that out. And then if that's not enough, check out Patreon. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of your bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above. Not only do you get hundreds of back episodes of bonus stuff you've never heard immediately upon subscription, you also get new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get it all, baby. You get all. This week, what you're going to get for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about Travis Rudolph, who was an NFL player briefly, but more importantly, just finished up a pretty well-publicized murder trial, which is a lot of fun. So we'll talk about that. And then for Small Town Murder, West Memphis 3, Part 2, talk a little bit more about how the hell this all happened and how HBO, how we needed a documentary or 3 to talk about this and everything else. So all of that and more, patreon.com/CrimeInSports, and you get a shout out at the end of the show as well. Jimmy will mess your name all up while he really, really hopes to get it right.
I wish.
That said, disclaimer time. It's a comedy show, everybody. It's a comedy show. Now, we're comedians, so there's going to be jokes, but the murders are all too real. There's nothing made up about the murders, nothing embellished for comedic effect. Nothing has to be embellished. They're crazy, crazy things that happen here. And we're going to say, there's going to be murder and there's going to be jokes. There's those two things go together, but makes it a little more digestible, I think. None of this dark, then her head was cut off, and that's a little disturbing. Let's keep it a little lighter, dance around the edges of it a little bit, and that's how we do it. And how we do it is we never make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yes, but
we're not scumbags. See how that works? There you go. So if that sounds good to you, we have a crazy show for you. Can't wait to get into it. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever, ever go together, maybe we're not for you, but maybe we are. Either way, no complaining later. That said, I think it's time, everybody.
Here we go.
It's time to all clear the lungs. Let's go here, arms to the sky. Let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? We are going to Kentucky this week. Yes. Pembroke, Kentucky is where we will be. And Pembroke. And this is in western Kentucky. Way over on the west side there. It's about an hour to Nashville. It's kind of the nearest big city to the area is Nashville. About an hour 15 in the other direction to Benton, Kentucky, which was our last Kentucky episode. Taking in the Strays, that one was. I remember that one. That was a crazy one. This is in Christian County. Nothing subtle about that. Area code, but it was named after a guy. Area code 270 and 364, both of them in this town. This is a tiny town, by the way.
Yeah.
Talk about another one of these towns that's under 1,000 people, which is, those are small towns. This town was settled in 1836 and named for someone who does not exist. Okay, this was named after a fictional character. It was named after Pembroke Somerset Esquire.
Is that a lawyer?
A character in Jane Porter's 1803 novel Thaddeus of Warsaw by Dr. Lunsford.
That one missed me.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either. It was on my list and I just never got to it. It's one of those books, There's
a lot of words in there that feel old-timey.
Yeah, I don't.
Thaddeus started it.
First of all, Thaddeus of Warsaw. Would you read a book called Thaddeus of Warsaw right now? And who knows, maybe it's a literary classic. We're dumb, so we don't know anything about that kind of stuff. So Dr. Lunsford Lindsay is the guy who named the town after this. So he was a local store owner. I assume they sold books there at the store he ran. I would guess.
The doctor has a store.
Yeah, the doctor has a store, which, I mean, maybe he was a pharmacist too, and who knows.
Or maybe he was just a doctor of literature. We don't know.
We don't know. So the county is named for Colonel William Christian, who is a native of Augusta County, Virginia, who's not even from here, who was a veteran of the Revolutionary War. He settled near Louisville in 1785 and was killed by Native Americans in southern Indiana in 1786. So he survived the British, but not the Comanche. So reviews of this town. Okay. Here we go. Here's 4 stars. There's only 2 reviews. There's less than 1,000 people. So 4 stars. Pembroke is a very nice town.
Yeah.
Good way to start it. Very quiet with friendly neighbors. I wish their pest control service was open on the weekends, as we woke up to a viper in our bedroom one day and no one to help us. Okay, this place is hell on earth now. A viper in your bedroom? Not even like, it was in the yard, in my bedroom. Just you wake up, it's sitting on your chest staring at you. That's what I picture. Like
a viper
Henry Hill waking up with a gun in his face. This is a viper. Wow. And I don't know really how you can take a star away from the town, because the pest control business is closed on the weekends. That has nothing to do with the town.
And
it's weird.
It's more than a pest.
It's more than a pest.
It's a viper.
Call animal control maybe then, probably, I would think, or something.
Dang.
A poisonous loose snake in your house. I don't know. Here's 4 stars. I enjoy being in the country. Things to do are reliant on your own proactive participation, which means there is shit to do. That's what that means. You have to come up with shit. Yeah.
You want fun, you got to have an imagination.
You got to be like 8-year-olds without an iPad. Like, you got to make some shit up and figure it out.
A shoestring, and a fucking a coat hanger. Get to work and make something fun.
You're going to make a game out of this. Do it. It is quiet and calming when the sun goes down, yet close enough to many activities. Would certainly do all over again.
Really?
If I died and they said, you want to go back? Only if I'm getting sent to Pembroke, is what they said.
Yeah.
Fine. People in this town, 791.
Wow.
Very small town. That's extremely small. More male than female people here, which is not usual. That's usually the other way around. Median age is 38. It's right around the national average. Otherwise, it's all 56% married, which is well above the national average. Also, a lot of people, it's weird. You usually don't see a very high marriage rate and a very high single with children rate. But this town figures it out.
We're figuring it out.
56% are married and 25% are single with children. So
incredible.
That's wild. So that says that, 25% are neither, less than 25% or 20% are neither married nor have children.
That's very low.
That's very low. Race in this town, 78.5% white, 18.2% black, and then pretty much zeros through the rest of the way there. 2.6% Hispanic. That's about it. Religion in this town, 50-50 is the national average. Here it's 54.6%, and the definite mother load here goes to the Baptists, 33.8% Baptists. Baptists, as we know, are the Catholics of the South. They're everywhere here. Down here, only 4% Catholic, so that's how that works. The unemployment rate here is a little higher than the national average, but nothing out of whack. Now, the median household income here is actually really good.
Yeah.
The rest of the country, $69,000 is the average. Here it is $72,798 a year, which
not bad.
Not bad at all, especially when you consider the cost of living is a little bit lower. 100 is average. Here it is 74.4. So not bad. Housing, the median home cost here is $217,700, which is also
very doable.
Very doable, especially if, $72,000 a year. It's not bad. That all equals out. So maybe we've talked you into it. Maybe you have a good imagination and you can come up with some shit to do for yourself.
You'll figure out fun.
If you can, we have for you the Pembroke, Kentucky Real Estate Report. average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $840, which is, it's about a third under the national average. Here's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home here. It's 1,052 square feet, so not a lot of room in there. And it's basically a shed house, I would call it, a house shed.
It's an apartment that is by itself.
Yeah, but it's a shed that they put rooms in. It's a metal building.
Oh.
It's all metal. It's just a metal sides, metal top. It looks like you put the lawnmower here and the kids' room over here. Like it's a real weird shed house.
There is this trend with barn dominiums. This may have been inspiration for it.
This is a shed where they're like, y'all could live in that if you really needed to. Someone said that.
Some drywall, set up some aluminum channels, and built you a wall.
It's plain. The kitchen and bathroom, they actually did some nice work on it where it's not too bad. So that is $160,000. No, thank you.
What?
Yeah, it's a little much there, I think. Here's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,268 square foot house on 2 acres. Okay. And it's a basic suburban dwelling is basically what it is. You can see it, and go, oh, there's a nice kind of bigger average
2 acres,
home. Yeah, it's on 2 acres, which is nice. Inside, it is very, very like early 2000s. It needs a big time renovation. The carpets look a little sketchy in the bedrooms. Okay. It's one of those. It could use some help. $484,000 for that.
This place doesn't sound that affordable.
That's not that affordable at all. And then finally, 4-bedroom, 4-bath, T-bowl for each and every b-hole right there, baby. 4,570 square feet. It's a big house. 3.63 acres. It's a big house. It's fine. It's
almost
nice.
4 acres. It's good. Yeah.
It's got pillars and stuff. I mean, it's fancy. It's got a lot of fancy stuff in it too. It's got a sauna and a tennis court. And like shit like that. Like somebody really fancied it up. Somebody that someone who's like pinnacle of high style was whatever was hot in 1987 decided to really do this place up.
80s Beverly Hills. I'm going to put it in Kentucky.
Yes, but I'm getting a tennis court with a sauna next to it.
Yeah.
$990,000.
Almost.
You're out of your minds. Out of your fucking minds. No. No way. Things to do here. Yeah. The Hopkinsville International Festival. International Festival, because obviously
we got tacos.
Obviously, what do you think of when you think of international culture?
Kentucky.
Western rural Kentucky. That's what I think of. It says immerse yourself in global culture without leaving Christian County. Well, I mean, doesn't get more convenient than that, everybody. That sounds great. Hopkinsville International Festival has been rapidly expanding since the first event in 2009. Over the years, it has evolved into a bigger venue and more variety. The event celebrates the vast cultural diversity found in Hopkinsville. I gave you the cultural diversity. It's fucking 80% white, 20% black. That's the cultural diversity.
Very diverse.
The Global Village is an essential festival destination. You're invited to join in this exciting cultural exchange. They're like, it's like Epcot Center, except in Kentucky.
We get Doritos in a bag.
Walking tacos. We are looking for people with an international heritage who are willing to set up a booth showcasing their country of origin. Please.
We don't have any that live here.
We're looking for you if you're out there. You don't have to be from here. No one said that. Yeah. The International Festival presents a variety of different cultural dance performances as well as musical groups. The variety is growing every year, and many of the performers provide an interactive session so that attendees can learn the dances for themselves.
Okay.
Now, I looked it up. The 2024 festival was canceled, so they said they were taking a year off, they said. Okay.
We're gonna regroup and come back next
It's a once-a-year festival. We'll take this year off. It's a little too much for us. So I looked it up. There is these are the bands they've had over the past. Let's see. We've had Travis Tritt actually headline the 5th annual Hopkinsville Summer Salute. He did. To the Limit, the Ultimate Eagles Experience.
An Eagles cover band.
An Eagles cover band. Africa Nashville. a band that performed 2023. The Jimmy Church Band.
Yeah.
A local band. Yep, there you go. A local band. I'm Jimmy Church. We knew. The Jason Montgomery Band. Guess what that is? A local band.
All these people opened for Travis Tritt.
Oh, totally. That's how they got on the gig. Travis turned me on to it. Clint Holmes, Nikki Harris, Keith Gans. These are all jazz performers. Travis Tritt, Olivia Faye.
What's the chances it's just a dude named Travis Tritt that lives there?
Yeah, well, they say it's a country music icon. Otherwise, I would say Travis Tritt with one T probably is not an up-and-comer.
Travis with a Y.
Yeah. Olivia Faye is an up-and-comer from Western Kentucky who opened for Travis Tritt at the 5th annual.
Yeah, we
and
know.
Kyle Daniel, also a country artist from Western Kentucky, who opened for Travis Tritt. So, crime rate in this town, Jesus Christ. Property crime, a little bit over half of the average, so almost half the average. So low is what we're saying. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is a little less than half the average also. So it's pretty safe here, I would assume, obviously.
People, what are you going to do?
That's right. I mean, there's nobody here. You'd know exactly who killed you. That said, let's talk about some seriously wild murder here. Let's get into this. All right. Okay. Let's talk about a guy first. Christian Richard Martin. Talk about first. He doesn't go by any of those names, though.
No?
No. He goes by Kit. K-I-T.
Kit. All right.
Yeah, which is exactly what you would think, right? Wait till you hear how he got that nickname, because it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it's a self-given nickname, which is
that right?
Always great. Yeah, when
you can't do that.
You can't do that. He was born in 1968, and his family's a big military family. Everybody in the family's military. All the guys. His dad's a 30-year Air Force veteran, served in Vietnam. Yeah. His sister served in the Air Force and retired after 20 years. So they're a hardcore military family. The grandfather was in the Army cavalry.
Wow.
Yeah, grandfather was riding a goddamn horse with a fucking sword and shit.
Right?
They still have the cavalry, but they're mainly.
But they don't.
It's mainly horses, ceremonial. Right? We're not going into ground combat against tanks and fucking missiles and sending a bunch of guys on fucking horses. I would hope not.
With like those shoulder things.
Yeah, with a big sword coming off and a plume on their hat. I don't think that's going on right now. I hope
strap
not.
Across their chest.
Let's hope not. Let's just say that. I hope we've come more. If we have stealth bombers and we're still like, mount the horses, gentlemen, we got problems. We are not using our resources efficiently, I would say, at that point. So, there's even they would travel a lot. When he was 2, Kit's family moved to Europe.
Oh, where at?
Around. I guess he lived in Germany and other. All over. They got transferred, I guess, around a few times. They traveled throughout Europe, and he got to experience all these other countries. And maybe the international festival thing was his idea. He came here. He's like, guys,
all the flavors he knows of.
You have no idea. Everything from kraut to different kind of kraut. It's great over there.
Yeah, the French got a lot of desserts.
So he lived in different parts of the world, and this didn't make him like the world more. It made him appreciate his own country more, he said. That's what he said.
I've heard that, too.
Made me appreciate, I guess just it makes you appreciate a standard toilet, I think, probably.
Yeah, and the same outlet in the wall.
The outlet, and you can get, like, Cocoa Puffs, like, I don't know, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just
Taco Bell's helpful.
Yeah. They have those in England now, and they are really excited about it.
Are they?
Oh, my God. English people.
Australian people are jacked about it, too.
Fucking love Taco Bell. Yeah. I was watching, there's these videos of these, they give American foods to these British, like, high school kids. I've showed you some of these videos before. And there's one where they give them Taco Bell. And the looks on these kids' faces, it's like you gave them their first hit of crack. Like, the look is like, oh, shit, I got to get more of that. Like, the look on their face is crazy. Their eyes, like you could see the whites of their eyes all around. They're like, oh my God, this is proper. This is amazing. Oh my God, holy shit. And they're just housing this shit. Yeah. They love it. Wow. It's crazy.
My kids eat it. They certainly when I give them options of things that because for whatever reason we're not making dinner, there's this, and this nearby. Taco Bell's, they all go, Taco Bell,
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's what I'm making you eat then.
All right, I guess, and then you eat it anyway.
I make them eat that too because then it kind of like it's reverse psychology to me. I don't know. It's me showing them what bad fast food is, and hopefully they don't want it. But I fucking love that.
Yeah, and Taco Bell's actually like the least bad for you, kind of out of all of them. Yeah, because they don't even. It's not even real beef. It's soy shit.
Yeah, nothing.
Or no, they use real beef.
Beef.
Jack in the Box uses soy in the tacos.
Really?
Which is,
that makes sense.
I don't even care because they're delicious.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
It's some weird paste. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a
Put
fuck.
them in my
I'm
face.
eating.
They're so good.
So good.
I love a Jack in the Box taco. Every once in a while, I'm sitting in New York just craving a Jack in the Box taco. Every time I go back to Phoenix, it's one of the first things I do.
It's not a tortilla. It's not meat. That's probably not cheese.
No, but their hot sauce is so good, too. It's like actually hot.
That taco sauce is amazing.
Fucking, oh, my God. Fucking Jack in the Box taco sauce is crazy.
God damn it.
Okay. So one thing about Kit moving around a lot, and I understand this because I went to fucking 8 different schools or whatever, is when you move around a lot, you have to keep starting over, which is hard. You know what I mean? Never in a place long enough to really settle down. Never get on a baseball team or something for a couple of years and have any, lasting relationships or anything like that. He ends up, before he graduates high school, he signs up for the Army Reserves at age 17.
Really?
Yeah. So he graduated high school, then went right into basic training at Fort Knox. After that, he enrolled in the University of Nebraska and joined the ROTC program at University of Nebraska. So he's in the reserves and the ROTCs, and he worked nights and then attended school and did the weekends with the Army Reserve. So busy.
Very.
Busy guy here. But the Army ended up gifting him with a scholarship, or gifting him or whatever. I guess he earned a scholarship because of all the shit he was doing. So they helped him out with his college here. He meets a young lady named Stacy. Okay. Now, Stacy, he meets her at Fort Lewis, Washington. He is completing officer training for the ROTC, and Stacy was in the ROTC program at Middle Tennessee State University, and they dated a little bit and, all that kind of thing. He finished his degree in Nebraska. She was doing her thing in Tennessee. They have a bit of a long-distance relationship that they're going to keep together, basically, here. Now, Kit graduates from the University of Nebraska in 1990. He's got a degree in geography, which I did not know you could earn a degree in. I know where things are is a really strange college.
Yeah, I memorized the globe.
That's
good for you.
Good for you. Wow. You can point out Ghana on the map without any countries being labeled. Terrific.
How many countries are there? It's like 144 or something?
There's more than that. Yeah, there's 200 something.
There's not a gross of them?
No, not 144. No grosses. So, geography, like I said, I didn't realize that was
yeah, that's wild.
You could get a degree in that.
Feels like a month of studying a globe. You should be done, right?
You should be. I don't think 4 years it takes to figure out where the countries are, probably. But who knows? I'm sure there's something more to it, and we'll get messages saying, actually, it's all this. And there's cartography involved in it, and map. Who the hell knows? I don't know. Yeah. So his scholarship came with the stipulation, because the Army gave him the scholarship to do this, but obviously, the stipulation is once you're done, then you come full time in the Army.
Your ass is ours.
That's how that works. Yeah. So he does that. His first assignment was with the Signal Corps at Fort Ord in California. Fort Ord has come up so many times on this show. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's a very common place to send people, I guess. It's a very popular base.
Really weird how many people on this show have had Fort Ord, roots or whatever. So he's not real thrilled with this, by the way. No. This isn't his top assignment. He doesn't want to be a signal officer. So he applied and was accepted to Army Ranger School.
Great.
So, he said it was really bad, Army Ranger training. Yeah. My mother, back in the day, we lived with a guy who was her boyfriend who was a Navy SEAL. Uh-huh. And
Your mom dated a Navy SEAL?
Yeah, we lived with him for years. Yeah. He, number one, told me a bunch of crazy shit, but also, They have a video. They had like a yearbook and a video when you graduate from the thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, not like a video. Here's us torturing a fucking Saudi Arabian man. No. So he had they made a video of their training. It's fucking insane, dude, the shit that they make those guys do. So any of those special forces, it's wild. I mean, the stuff he told me about,
they damn near drown them.
They drop them out miles out. They run the boat in circles so they don't know where they are. They drop them off with nothing, and they're like, find your way back to shore, assholes.
Swim back, fucker.
Yeah. And they have to make fucking flotation devices out of pants and shit while they're doing it. It's fucking crazy. So it's it's wild. And also, I guess that's to build if one guy's drowning, help him and all that kind of shit, I guess. So.
And it teaches them how to lower their heart rate so that they're just fucking calm.
What
they do is teach them how to just be murderers.
That and the tear gas shit they had to do was nuts. It was crazy. So anyway, that's what he does. He described this as really, really shitty, essentially here. He said later that he had signed up for the Ranger course for more leadership skills, saying, though, that it took him about 6 months to recover physically from the Ranger training.
Abuse.
From the horrible abuse. So he ends up, while he's at Fort Ord, he flew to Tennessee to marry Stacy.
Okay.
This is May 1991. He marries Stacy. He's 22. She's 25. They had a military wedding, all in uniform and all that kind of shit. They said their vows. They walked through the sabers that they do, the whole military thing, and that was that. They walk off into the sunset here. Stacy ends up moving to California a month after that. She's done with her thing. They have their first child, a girl named Megan, in December of 1992.
Sure.
So then, they liked California, Kit and Stacy. As a family, they like going to the beach all the time, a lot of hiking and that kind of thing, because there's a lot of that there. You know what I mean? So
California's got the outdoor life if you love it.
Absolutely. So they the hiking and doing all that, beaching and everything. So hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Stacy, the thing that she doesn't like here, she's not from a military family, by the way.
No.
So she didn't move around a ton as a kid and all that. So all this moving around that they have to do, she's not used to and doesn't really like it.
Yeah.
No. So they moved to Fort Lewis in Washington and were there for a while. He had a brief stint on active duty during Desert Storm. She did. I'm sorry. Then she resigned her position, and she said that the primary factor was the possibility of the two of them being deployed. And
Megan, what the fuck are we gonna do with her?
Why? Okay. I don't understand. If you're the Army and you have a married couple with a kid, you can't deploy both of them. There you go. Problem solved.
There it is. Yeah.
Only one of the couple can be deployed. That's it.
I mean, you got rules for all kinds of other shit.
I don't understand why that's even difficult to fucking. That should be like the easiest thing to deal with. Yeah, we can't send both parents over there to get killed. That's crazy.
Unless there's like an obvious, enormous conflict where everybody's involved, then
it's World War II. Even in World War II, though, there was.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you were the breadwinner for the family and you had 4 kids, they didn't send you over there so your family could starve. That wasn't part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain extenuating circumstances. Sure. If they have a little kid, I would say, all right, well, yeah, only one of you. So I don't know. Kit wants to fly helicopters. That's his ambition, to fly helicopters, which to me is the scariest thing in the world.
I don't know how it works, and I don't like it.
Like it at all. I'm terrified by it, and they just crash a lot.
Even if somebody's really, I don't want to be in there.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
I'd rather fly it than sit in it. Put it that way. And I don't want to fly it at all.
I'm not doing that. Yeah,
I'm not doing that shit. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know physics, but if I did, I would say that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if something spins, anything attached to it is gonna fucking spin. I don't get it. That's a whole other. I mean, your bike, your car wheels spin. I suppose, but they're not.
The rest of the car doesn't tumble past it like with it. That's all right, but
I just don't. I don't know how that does it. I don't get it.
I don't want to just see it stop and then we plummet from the sky. That's what I'm worried about.
You guys, the big fan's going to stop in a minute.
That's fucking crazy, dude. I can't.
The big fan's slowing down.
I would never stop staring at it out the window. It's all I'd be doing is making sure. There it goes. Okay, I couldn't stop.
I knew it.
I knew. So he resigned from active duty, and he returned to the Army Reserves, which would allow him to take up flying. That was his point. So Stacy and the daughter here go back to Tennessee and stay with Stacy's parents for a little while he completes his flight training. And Stacy gets a real estate license and all that kind of thing. And she's got her mom watching the kids, so it's an easier deal for her. Kit tries to get jobs with different civilian organizations while in flight school. He has a few little jobs just to make ends meet. The flight school's in Fort Rucker, Alabama, by the way. He worked at a casket factory. How many of those could there be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like how many hearses are made a year. Like how many? There's a finite number of caskets that are going out every year.
I don't know. I mean, you could really generate a shitload of them and then just sit back and
coast as many as you want. They don't go bad or anything, right?
No, and they're in constant need, right?
And you know about how many you're going to need every year too. That's the other thing because you can just chart the population, how many people die, and you can get probably within a couple thousand people of how many caskets are going to be needed for a year. So that's interesting. He also worked part-time as a karate instructor. So the two most weird jobs I can think of are karate instructor and casket factory worker. Those are so weird. Caskets and karate, this guy likes. And he eventually landed a job that paid a little better in telecommunications in Atlanta, Georgia. He tried to commute from Alabama to Atlanta, which
that's a ride.
Seems like quite the ride, I would say. But it became difficult, and then he had to quit because he couldn't do it. If you're commuting 2.5 hours each way, it's not worth it.
Why don't you get the job closer to home in telecommunications?
I don't think it existed. That was in the city of Atlanta. I think he was in Fort Rucker, Alabama. I don't think they had a casket factory. That's what they had.
And a karate school.
And 4 kids with rickets and scurvy that wanted to learn karate. That was it. So after getting his helicopter license, he took a job with Air Logistics, which would fly helicopters out to oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico.
And
land the crew out there.
I guess, yeah, to ferry people back and forth because
or
if someone,
supplies.
if they need to, yeah, exactly. If someone needs to get off the rig, they can't turn it around and take it all the way back to shore, so they get a helicopter out there.
That rig is it's kind of anchored, right?
It's out there, yeah.
It's not moving.
No one's making a pit stop for you. Like if you have to piss, do it now because we ain't pulling over. It's one of those things.
You don't go to shore for lunch break. You're there.
Definitely not. So this would spend a lot of time away from the family with this, too, because you would basically have to go all the way down there, and you'd be on for 2 weeks, and then you get 5 days off. On for 2 weeks, you get 5 days off. So that's how they did it.
Like a firefighter, but like
a
little more strenuous before you get your time off.
No shit. So now Kit, how he got the name Kit. I guess his family called him Chris. No one ever called him Christian. That was never. His family called him Chris. Stacy, his wife, only knew him as Chris. But apparently, because Chris is a very common name, common name. Yeah. Apparently, when he was in the Guard, there were just shitloads of guys named Chris in his class, just tons of guys named Chris. So he felt, not other people. They didn't. All the Chris's should have got together and go, we all need nicknames. Let's give each other nicknames or something. He said, I need a nickname. I can't just be another Chris in the crowd. I'm not that kind of guy here. So he said that he remembered one camping and hiking trip as a Boy Scout where he visited the grave of Christopher Kit Carson, the frontiersman, Kit Carson.
Yeah.
And Kit Carson was also a cavalry scout and an Army officer.
Right. Yeah.
So he said he just adopted the name, just started introducing himself as Kit Martin. And people just, all right, he said his name's Kit. How you doing, Kit? Which if you move to new places, you could say your name's anything and just introduce yourself as that. That's your name now.
Big Kit Carson fan.
That's it. That's fucking hilarious. You can't do that if you live somewhere for like 30 years. You can't just turn around and say, I'm this guy now. They're like, no, you're not. Shut up, Chris. Shut the fuck up, Chris. God damn it.
We'll call you Chrissy until you're a grown man. Then we'll call you Chris.
And we'll call you Chris. God damn it. We went to third grade together. Don't you tell me what your name is. So Kit and Stacy are going to end up having 2 more children, boys named Chase and Zachary. And Kit spent, he liked hanging out with his family and shit like that. Apparently, he claims that he would, help with all the chores and the dinners and all that kind of thing. That's just his words. Who knows how true that is. He liked to take the boys outside, apparently, to help them, show them how to tend to the animals they had on their property. They had chickens, horses, and miniature horses.
Oh, and the little ones.
Well, aren't they ponies?
I think, yeah. Right?
So that's a miniature horse. I think that they have maybe the real tiny horses.
Oh, the ones that
they have the toy horses,
rainbow colors and shit. And,
I think maybe one of those. But their relationship starts faltering here. They've been married 12, 13 years, and in March of 2004, Stacy asks for a divorce. Now, okay, he doesn't know what to do with himself. They're going to get divorced. They're going to split up here.
Okay.
He's been in the military. He met her in the military.
Everything he knows is military.
Yeah, he doesn't really know how to date. He's never really, gone out, met girls and dated them and done any of that kind of shit. Like, I'm sure, I don't know if he's met them in bars and went home with them for a night or something, but doesn't know how to get a girlfriend really, unless he runs into them at a work function. So
I don't know. At a ball in your whites.
Yeah, but at this point, he was an Army Ranger. He has had over 1,000 hours of combat flying, including 500 hours while using night vision gear, which is a separate thing.
That's a lot, yeah.
All that kind of thing. He flew an Apache attack helicopter, and all that kind of shit. So he's got a lot of life experience, but doesn't really know how to date. So. Right. He married young, didn't do that, so he wrote a few words about himself and posted them on Yahoo Personals, which is the greatest thing I've ever fucking heard in my life.
In 2004?
In 2004, Yahoo Personals. That's a very 98 thing to do, I feel like, right?
Do those still exist? We have to find those.
Dude, I don't know, but they do have Yahoo Answers, which are fucking hilarious.
Oh, great.
There's just ask any question. They're so funny. Just it's
and
the
people
funniest
answer
shit.
them.
Oh, it's so funny, dude. Yeah, it's hilarious. We'll do it as a bonus episode one of these days. But Yahoo Personals is where he posted. One of the first women to contact him back was a woman named Joan, and I guess her screen name was Surfer Girl. All right. So they meet in person for lunch at O'Charlie's. Is that, I don't know if that's an Irish sports bar or that place in the mall with bad sandwiches in the food court. Which one is that?
That's just called Charlie's.
Okay.
Charlie's Steakery.
All right, okay.
All the time.
It's not that shit is awful. That is so bad. It's so fucking bad.
I got to buy one, get one at your house, and I housed both.
I remember.
I don't even know that I was getting two. It just showed up with two. I was like, well, I'm eating all of it.
I know. I was like, oh, man. And then what happened to you?
I got sick.
Yeah, you did. You got good and sick from that shit. You were like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that much Charlie's. I remember you were like, what is wrong?
That was a lot of Charlie's.
I blame the hot mayo still.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Oh, they gave you cooked mayo.
They put fucking mayo on it, and I was like, well, and I noticed it halfway through the second.
It's like, what? Well, that's that, I guess.
Well, I've already put all that in me. Whatever.
When they cook it, like bakes into the bread. It's not good.
Yeah.
You can't get it out. Not like you can scrape it off or anything. It's
boy, did I get sick.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I was like, I don't want to kick you while you're down, but you think maybe you brought this on yourself?
Yeah.
Oh Christ. So yeah, Kit. Now the divorce is final, but Kit is still living at the house.
Yeah, that's good and awkward.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if this is true or not, but he's telling everyone that he was staying in the bonus room, in their extra room, while waiting for the house to be sold. So he's like, well, we can't afford to, go get separate
get two,
places. So Kit said they were just roommates by this point. That's what he's telling everybody. So he has a date with Joan. He told Stacy he was leaving early to go to work rather than saying that he had a date. So Stacy said, I don't know about this. So she followed him. We're divorced.
It's over.
We are divorced.
Yeah.
And this is why. So, no.
Yeah. And this is certainly an indicator.
Stacy was very upset when she saw Kit be actually going out on a lunch date to O'Charlie's with Joan. And,
well, don't worry. They're going to get hot mayo, and this will be a bad date anyway.
It's all right. He'll be back later at home. Trust me. He's going to want to stay next to that home base toilet later.
Hope there's a bonus toilet.
Yeah. That no one else has to use. Let's hope for that. A bonus shitter. So now Joan Harmon is Joan. Joan Harmon Guerra, actually. She was married to a guy named Carlos Guerra. Joan's parents were divorced. Her father, who she accused of abuse also, her father was a Navy officer.
Okay.
So this makes sense. This is,
I can see. But
a lot of times the people who come from military families look for military people because they're just used to that.
It's fascinating, though. But if your ex-wife was, or if your mom was a Navy officer and beat the shit out of you, would you look for a Navy officer woman?
No, but also people get abused and then look for people with the qualities of the abusers. Yeah. That's just that's psychology. Until you get a shitload of therapy, that's how your brain works. Like you look to repeat cycles. So maybe I'm not sure. Her mother was a nurse, and she's pretty attractive here. She's described in a book as, quote, petite but had a shapely figure and long blonde hair.
Blonde with big tits, very nice.
Big-titted blonde girl, that's going to be that's a tough sell. So
they're oftentimes single forever.
Oh, that's a real tough sell. Yeah, you can't get them out there at all. Especially they just sit on the shelf. Those gals,
those are not in demand.
No. No one likes big-breasted blondes.
Quite obsolete.
Basically non-existent at this point, really. So she told Kit that she had 3 children. Oldest one being 7 years old at the time. She's got 2 little girls, and the oldest is a boy, by the way. Sure. She said that the father of her son had died in a logging accident and had been decapitated in that accident.
God damn.
My son's father has been fucking beheaded in a logging accident, which is a very odd.
Oof.
No matter
2004, that's a wild time.
That's
to
a
wild. Yeah.
If you heard that happen in 1876, you'd go, "That's dangerous work right there." But decapitated in a logging accident,
probably fell into that saw with that 8-foot diameter circular saw
from the Patreon episode. Yes, totally, man. Yes, exactly.
I can see it.
But this is from what I understand, it's one of the most dangerous jobs, actually, logging.
Probably, yeah.
It's very dangerous, but I don't know about decapitations, if that's normal. That seems like they should probably work something out where people's heads stay on.
Yeah, OSHA should get on board with that.
Yeah, So she said that was her first child's father decapitated. Yeah. She said the two girls at the time, they were 2 years old and 9 months old. She said that husband, she was divorced from him. Okay. So she painted a negative picture. Didn't say that said that her ex-husband was pretty shitty and that she had concerns for her safety. She said that he used to stalk her and threaten her. And once they broke up, he broke into her apartment.
I mean, it's only been at least 18 months since they stopped seeing each other. You know what I mean?
At the most. So now, I don't know, like I said, if this is just how someone she was like looking for, you know what I mean? Almost not consciously, but subconsciously, what your brain does here. So Kit agreed to rent a U-Haul and help Joan move into a rental property that he owned. So you can move into my rental place. And he didn't charge her rent and even paid for her food and bills.
That's an interesting choice.
That's what he says. Yeah, that's what he did. He's like, I had to help old Joan out here, get her away from that
rental property, and he's staying in his ex-wife's house. You know,
that's what I'm saying. And he's staying in the bonus room of his ex-wife's house. How about I'll be at the rental property that we own if no one's there. If it's open and just ladies can just move in at any time. Now, she apparently, from what some people say, they say she had some inconsistencies in her stories about her parents and the fathers of her children and stuff like that. Kit said he broke up with her shortly after she moved into his rental property because he was unsure of her and what she was all about. But they got back together when Joan called to say that her brother died in Iraq. Not just had a heart attack eating a falafel, actually, in the military. So, so Kit met with Joan to offer his condolences, and then, that's always going to lead to fucking death. Will lead to fucking every time. It's real weird.
There's only so many rubs on the shoulders you can do in
real weird.
In a friendship way. Yeah.
It's impossible to not feel a little better, I think. That's why.
And also, eventually, you got to meander around to the titties.
If you just come, you got to feel a little better. At least for a minute, you know what I mean? Just a little bit.
There'll be regret in a little while, but for now.
So at that time, Kit applies for the Aviation Captain's Career Course at Fort Rucker, Alabama. So, and he's, kind of getting into her family as far as, the kids know him and all that kind of thing. He decided he was going to go back to active duty. Yeah. And they were saying that, he'd probably be sent overseas somewhere. So they discussed getting married. And they do. They get married. They showed up at the courthouse December 7th, 2004, to inquire about getting a marriage license, but ended up just getting married on the spot. Okay. Just getting the license and putting it through. And then they realized they got married on Pearl Harbor Day, which they were like, oh, shit, that was a dumb.
It's the day they'll live in infamy.
Yeah, I guess we'll never forget it, I guess. You can't forget it. What's your anniversary?
September 11th.
What's your anniversary? Hold on a second. This day, December 7th. Okay, wait. Yeah, that's December 7th, 1941. No. I'm sorry.
2000.
I almost said we were married in 41. My bad. So he is having money problems at the time. Here he is. I guess he's not making a lot of money in the Army, and he was paying Stacy $1,728 a month in child support as well.
God dang.
3 kids. So, it's he's not doing well there. Obviously, financially, that's tough. Right. So, 2005, he is assigned to go to Germany with the Army. So Kit and Joan took a belated honeymoon cruise of the Mediterranean before the move to Germany. Well, they must have had some money.
Doing fine.
$5,000 it cost, they said. And it was,
sure.
They basically put it in credit cards, debt, just to do it, So I guess, there was some fighting between, the weird thing is they seemed to get along, but Joan and Stacy would fight, Kit said. Uh-huh. Yeah, he said that he wrote, quote, "My daughter Mackenzie," that's Megan Mackenzie, the first kid, "has always been very smart, a straight A student. If given the choice, I think she would prefer to live with us," as they were, they were doing a court thing here. And I guess the kid, Megan Mackenzie there, I guess Kit wanted to fly his kids to Germany to show them where he lived when he was a kid. Stacy, though, the ex-wife, would only allow them to visit Germany if she was allowed to come along. I guess so he couldn't keep them in Germany. I guess that's her fear.
There's that.
So Kit said Joan wasn't going to be okay with that, so Kit would end up having to fly back to the United States when he wanted to see the kids. So rather than have his ex-wife come stay at the stay with you guys, that could be weird. So now, during their marriage here, they end up moving back to the States, as we'll talk about. But during all this, Joan and Kit live with her daughters and also her son, Justin Elijah, who goes by Elijah. Nobody goes by their first name in Kentucky, by the way. Nobody does, it seems like. We've had 4 characters, none of them go by their first name. Male characters. So Iraq now, too. Kit served 3 tours of duty in Iraq. And then in 2010 is when they moved back to the States. They head to Rhode Island, where I guess Kit pursued a master's degree in national defense at the Navy War College.
Hell yeah.
By this time, he reached the rank of major, by the way.
That's a big deal.
Pretty good up there. Yeah, majors, it's high up there. His first military assignment after War College was Fort Campbell, Kentucky, with the 101st Airborne Division. So, moves to Kentucky.
And that's the first one, right? That's like the first deployed, right?
The first deployed.
I know
I don't know
the numbers in front of the air. It's just to throw off the enemy. But that 101st, I think that's the first one's deployed.
No fucking clue. I couldn't have any less idea about that. No clue. So they moved to Kentucky. Fort Campbell's in Western Kentucky, and Joan found a house online in Pembroke, Kentucky.
Okay.
Which is where we are. So she told Kit she needed something to keep her occupied, and fixing up an old house would work. So she wanted to get an older house and fix it up.
You bet it will.
Yeah,
that'll keep you occupied for 5-10 years.
That'll keep your whole entire life, every second of your goddamn day occupied, and your dreams too.
Yeah, unless you're hiring a contractor to do everything for you. This is going to
it will take over your life and destroy it also. Even if just not doing the work doesn't help at all. Your house is still destroyed and you can't live in it, and it's almost, I think, doing the work would be easier. At least you know what's going on as a contractor. You're like, it's never going to stop.
At least you know the stage you're at.
Yeah, they just keep showing up, and I don't know when they're going to be done.
I keep hearing hammering.
I don't know. I wake up to saws every day. That's all I know. I wake up to sawing
again. I thought that was done.
I don't know. So Kit said, he liked an older home, and he found, one, he wanted some extra land, too. He wanted some acreage, and he wanted to get a couple farm animals.
Fuck yeah.
Mini horses, you know what I mean?
It's his favorites, those ponies.
Yeah, Kit had lived on a farm before, and he said he thought that maybe caring for animals would also help the kids learn some responsibility.
It will, yeah.
So they bought a house at auction for $60,000.
Wow.
Yeah, $60,000 at auction. So
that's
foreclosure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and this was in 2010, I believe, so there's a lot of houses open.
Yeah.
So their first job they did to it was to repaint it, and they did, because I guess, paint falls off, and you got to have good paint on there or else your house will rot away.
Sure.
So they paint it bright yellow, which is quite the choice.
That is, it's a
That's
choice.
Something. That's something.
There's a few colors I will never do, and that's one of them.
No. Okay for like a weird sports car or something. Not okay for a house.
Not your house.
Nope. There's a few yellow houses around me, and they are hideous. Fucking
every time.
hideous.
I've never seen a yellow house and been like, that's the ticket.
That's the shit. I've showed you the school bus yellow one, that one house that you can see it from space. It's a huge, like a 7,000 square foot fucking monstrous house. Yeah. Bright, color. Horrifying yellow. You can see it from
Bluebird
miles away. Dude, it is. It really is. It's scary. So they're in Pembroke, and this is when they actually get to spend some time together, Joan and Kit, because they're actually doing normal shit here. You know what I mean? Like living a normal life. And then he would get a military assignment and be gone for a while, and he'd come back. And so obviously this is going to cause some strife in the relationship, as it often does here. And by the way, Kit claims that Joan lost interest in the remodeling efforts and caring for the animals and the garden. Just gave up.
Right away. Oh, this
gave
sucks. Up. I don't want to do this.
Well, that's overwhelming. She's probably just like, I don't know. I can't fucking do this all by myself. This is crazy.
These geese shit a lot.
So much. Now, apparently, Kit claims that Joan spends much of her day hanging out across the street with a married neighbor. A guy, by the way. Uh-huh. Yes, not another married woman that they discuss their shit with. Joan said that they were discussing business opportunities. Uh-oh. You know how that goes, obviously. Lots of business they needed to be discussed all day long, all the time, too, every day. Just, lots of new stuff coming up all the time. So this neighbor's name is Calvin Phillips, and he goes by Cal, and he lives across the street from their house there. He was also a 17-year military veteran, and I guess they wanted to offer one of their business ideas, Joan and Cal, was to offer concealed carry classes behind Cal's house because he has land, so they can do shooting shit back there.
Okay. The concealed weapons class should only be on paper and in books.
No. You do it in the backyard. No, you do it in the backyard.
All right. Yeah.
You do it in the backyard in rural Kentucky. Don't you know anything, Jimmy? Jesus Christ. Sorry I have to keep educating you about shit, Jimmy. No, that's what I mean. Just
so dangerous. Yeah.
Where the place where Cal's backyard is a little odd. So Pembroke does not allow target shooting within city limits, but Cal's backyard crossed the county line.
The county line runs through his property.
Cal's backyard. Oh, my God.
Fantastic.
So he was able to set up a shooting range just over the county line over here.
50 yards from the house.
Jesus Christ. They even held a class there. They had an instructor and everything like that. Joan took the class using a pistol that Kit had here. Cal's wife, Pam, worked at a bank in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Kit always suspected that Joan and Cal were having an affair.
You kind of have to.
Because they're home during the day, and it took every day all afternoon they came up with, we could put a shooting range in your backyard. Yeah. What were you doing the rest of the time, guys?
Right.
Jesus Christ. So September 5th, 2012, Kit asks Joan for a divorce. Says he wants a divorce. Yes, he initiates a divorce. Apparently, now this is the only people who say this are Kit and Kit's daughter, okay? Mm-hmm. That during an argument regarding the divorce, Kit's daughter says she overheard Joan tell Kit that she would ruin his life and military career if he left her. Which, I mean, people have said worse than that.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. But either way, that's
give it a shot.
They claim she said that, but that's the only proof we have here. So she decides she wants to move out of the house since, they're getting a divorce and shit. So she asked her neighbors, Cal and Pam, the couple across the street, to help her move out of the residence here. So Cal, by the way, is 59. His wife, Pam, is 58.
Okay.
Nice 60-year-old people across the street. And you're like, get in the middle of my fucking marital strife, would you?
Will you drive a U-Haul for me?
Jesus. If this was like 100 years ago, those people would be considered like elderly and you leave them alone. Not that that's elderly now, but goes from that to, hey, guys, will you help me move out of my fucking house?
Don't bother them. They're contemplating and very depressed about how they're about to die.
They want to know where their final resting place is going to be, and they're talking about it. Leave them alone. That's all.
Leave them to their bread pudding.
That's it. Yeah, they have no teeth left. That's how it was 100 years ago. So during this, Cal observes what he believed to be, because he was in the military, so he, can recognize some shit. I wouldn't know my ass from my elbow with this stuff, but... Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going. Look good out there. And you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable. And you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad.
Right.
There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Experience furniture shopping the way it's meant to be at Mathis Home, your ultimate furniture superstore. From sofas to dining sets, from modern to classic styles, they have everything you're searching for. With over 230,000 items to choose from, you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for at a price you'll love. Plus, everything is in stock and ready for fast, free delivery right to your door. So you don't have to wait. And if you're looking to really transform your space, take advantage of our complimentary interior design services. Our expert designers are ready to help with any project, whether big or small. And right now, check out the Lazy Boy BOGO event at Mathis Home, happening now through March 1st, 2025. Buy one Lazy Boy recliner and get another one absolutely free. Don't miss this limited time offer. Only at Mathis Home, your ultimate furniture superstore.
He observed what he believed to be classified military information located on a laptop computer and computer disks. Why he was firing up laptops and browsing through the files and looking through the disks, I have no fucking clue in the world. But that's
unless the computer and the disks all had classified stamped right the fuck on them.
Real big sticker across the top of the laptop.
Big red letters that are just like a rubber stamp. Like,
big one.
I mean, part of the letters are missing, but he can tell that that's classified.
He knows.
Yeah.
So Cal took the items and turned them over to the FBI.
What?
Yeah, that's a step. That's a big step he took.
You took shit out of my garage and called the FBI.
Called the FBI on me for it. Yeah, for this. So turns out there's some reason for that. Apparently that there was some shit he shouldn't have had. Yeah. Now Joan has some problems also here. They basically they found out that there's accusations from her ex-husband that she basically kidnapped her daughters from her ex-husband. Okay. That's what the accusations are. So that's what's going on. Now, at the same time, this is when Joan tells Cal and Pam that Kit has been physically abusive to both her and her son, Elijah.
Oh.
So there we go. She gave Cal photographs depicting the young man's injuries, which Cal then turned over to military police.
What
Cal
is going
will
on?
tell on you, boy. He will.
Cal's a rat.
Jesus Christ! Don't smoke a joint in your back porch. Cal's going to be on the phone with the local cops immediately.
Cal's got some loose fucking lips. Jesus,
man, I would say so. So Cal tells another neighbor named Danzero is his last name that he wants a divorce from Joan, and all he said, I think she's been having an affair. Kit says that. Yeah, Kit says that. So, and everything like that. So they're talking to all their neighbors here. Now, the accusation she levels at him for child abuse get deeper than that. Okay. She also accuses him of molesting her daughters.
Okay.
Yes. One of the daughters said that Kit had given them baths more than 5 times, but less than 10 times. The other daughter couldn't remember more than 1 or 2 times. Elijah, the son, said he witnessed the abuse on at least 1 occasion. The one daughter said she couldn't remember Elijah being present when she and her sister took baths. The first daughter that we talked about said that Kit was clothed when he gave them baths, whereas Joan claimed that he took baths with the girls while fully nude, which would be obviously horrifying.
That's a terrible thing to do.
Yes, and Alma said in one statement that Kit always used a washcloth when bathing them, and then in another statement she said sometimes he used his bare hands. She said, the one girl said that when she was about 5, Kit would bathe her and her sister. This is from what she told investigators now. She claimed that he would put soap on a rag and insert his finger into her.
Oh, my God.
Elijah then said that he had witnessed the abuse, which this young lady said happened more than 5 times but less than 10. See, there's different versions of the story here, but there's always that number that comes up. Yeah. Now, Elijah said that Kit would hit him with his hands, a belt, a whip, or anything else he could get his hands on.
Okay. He
said that Kit would get angry for no reason and beat him up. He said that he never did his chores well enough for Kit, and that Elijah said he'd always get a beating no matter what he had assigned to him. So there's pictures of this here, and Elijah said it happened when they lived in Rhode Island. He said he and some friends accidentally knocked over a porta potty, which is disgusting.
Accidentally?
I don't know how you accidentally knock over a porta potty. Yeah, unless you did it with like a vehicle or something. There's no way to do that.
They're not like a lamp.
No.
A soccer ball doesn't knock that over. You know what I mean?
Unless you had like a pickup truck you backed into it with or something. It's hard to knock those fuckers over.
You'd have to, both of you, throw shoulders into that like a football tackling dummy. And
I've seen people do it, and they usually rock it from both sides.
Yeah, because it's got liquid in there, and that's the stable part.
It's like a basketball hoop in your driveway. It's one of those with the sand or the liquid in the base. That's what it's like.
With hundreds of pounds of liquid in it.
There's a lot. They don't want it to be tipped over by the wind while you're shitting in it. That would be bad.
Or when you're not. And you just did.
Bad feature, that would be.
Yeah.
So he said when Kit found out about it, he made Elijah and his friends put the porta potty upright and clean up the mess, which seems extremely reasonable.
Yeah.
If my kid knocked over a porta potty, I'd be like, you fuckers are picking that up.
I'm not touching it.
Getting some gloves and some paper towels, and you're going to work here. Sorry. He said he then made Elijah take a shower. After the shower, which, I mean, he was covered in shit. So that's, again,
blue water. Yeah.
Reasonable so far at this point. After the shower, while Elijah says he was dressed only in boxer shorts, Kit started beating him with a belt. He told investigators that Kit hit him with the leather and the buckle end of the belt, both.
Fuck.
Elijah also told investigators after the beating, Kit made him cut the grass with scissors. Okay.
That took a while.
That'll take. They have acres. That'll take a minute, I would say. My question is, you make him get a comb in there too and do it so it's even, or how do we do it?
Or is it
willy-nilly,
all hacked up?
Willy-nilly hacked up like somebody who's sad at 2 a.m. Which one?
Does he get the texturizing scissors and give it a real nice...
oh, there we go. The thinners?
Yeah. A good look.
Love those thinning scissors. Those are great. According to Elijah, he got a lot of abuse from Kit, including whippings from a Roman whip made of leather straps with stones attached to the strip's ends. That's what he claims. Wow. Joan later said that the Roman whip had metal burrs on the ends of each strip, not stone.
God damn.
Either way, hard
it's
things.
Cat of nine tails, right? Isn't that what that is?
That shouldn't make your dick at all hard. Yes,
no, nobody should be hit with that. That's
crazy. That's horrible. Another instance of abuse, according to Elijah, occurred when he got caught stealing a necklace from his mother to give to a girl, which sounds dumb teenager shit here. Kit took him down to the basement where he essentially treated him like he was Marcellus Wallace going to the pawn shop.
Oh, boy.
He tied him up with duct tape and blindfolded him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. After 20 minutes, Kit returned. He said he left him there. In about 20 minutes, he returned and punched him in the stomach. He said Kit then used a knife to cut him loose and made him stand in the corner until his mom told him he didn't have to stand in the corner any longer.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Elijah also said that Kit always wanted to wrestle. Come on, let's wrestle. And that the wrestling would often end with him in a chokehold and not able to breathe. Come on, let's wrestle so I can choke you.
So what you're saying is you lost a lot.
Yeah, he didn't do very well. He said that Martin referred to the wrestling as WrestleMania, which is great. It's WrestleMania time, motherfucker. No, I don't want to have WrestleMania. Main event, bitch. Let's go.
Me and you.
Me and you. Cutting promos on him. Yeah. Wow. He described one occasion where he had purple dots all over his face due to a lack of oxygen.
Is that petechia?
Yeah, I was going to say, petechia, like if you were strangled. And one of the young ladies here, the daughters, also added that they would all get smacked if the daughters would get smacked if they tried to intervene in this at all.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, it's against the rules. You can't hit them with a chair on the outside of the ring. The ref isn't going to call for that.
You can't grab my leg. I'm trying to wrestle.
Can't grab for that when I'm going to the ropes to come off with a clothesline. This is crazy. Obviously.
Trying to do my finishing move and you bitches are in the way.
The fuck, man. Obviously, nothing funny, but it's crazy. Anyway, the idea of I'm going to have WrestleMania with my stepson and choke him out. And
you can't cheat.
Kick his little girl managers away as they try to run in the ring is fucking crazy.
Your 9-year-old bitch valet's really getting in the way.
Take that. That's right. He's cutting promos. So Elijah's first account here, like I said, the porta potty incident. Now, he says that he was beaten with a belt after the porta potty incident, but Jones said it was a bamboo stick. And Elijah later said that it was a belt and a bamboo stick. Okay. Now, Elijah said his mom took pictures of his bruises the day of the beating, and that's what he said. Joan will testify later that she took photos the day after the beating.
Oh.
So they're going to say, obviously, the beating didn't happen because they're not on the same page
day of and day after.
A day of and day after. So obviously they both made it up. Clearly, that's his stance on the whole thing here. In one version, Elijah said the beating lasted 3 minutes. In another, he said it lasted 20 minutes. The duct tape incident. Elijah said his hands and feet were duct taped and his eyes were covered with what he thought was also duct tape. He said that he was sitting on the bed and that Major Martin came into the room and punched him in the stomach. Elijah then claimed Kit returned a few minutes later, removed the tape with a knife. Joan's version was slightly different. She said, quote, "My daughter Alma came running into the kitchen saying, 'Daddy's hitting Elijah.' We had a basement, and she told me Elijah was down in the basement. I ran down there and looked in the guest room, which was dark. I noticed Elijah was in the room on his knees with his wrists duct taped behind his back. I also noticed Elijah was duct taped around his mouth and had 2 pieces of tape covering his eyes. Elijah was sitting in the dark on his knees, duct taped, and of course I freaked out."
Yeah.
That's as anybody would. Alma was just crying and her eyes were swollen. I then ran to get the scissors and ran down and cut the duct tape off him. He immediately started crying, so I stood him up and walked him upstairs. Now, Elijah said Kit came in, punched him, and cut him loose. And in a sworn statement, Jones said Elijah told her that Kit kept coming into the room and hitting him, implying it had happened more than once. So they're taking slight discrepancies and saying it obviously didn't happen. That's their thing, which is, a crazy abusive night a couple years beforehand. I feel like maybe things get a little whatever. So
a
little hazy. He found an email that Joan sent to herself on May 2nd, 2011. The subject line read, Elijah tipped over the portable toilet. Email contained 4 images and the following message, pictures of what Kit did to him after he got in trouble for tipping over a porta potty with a neighboring boy near our home, which is what neighboring means. Okay. So here are the pictures.
Holy fuck.
If that's real.
That's crazy.
If that's real, that is fucking horrifying.
It's in the face.
He's got it all over his face. His back.
Kid, oh my God.
His back looks like he was fucking starred in Roots.
Django.
It looks fucking crazy. He's got a Kunta Kinte back right now. Yeah. This is fucking bonkers.
Oh my God.
Just say Toby, Elijah. Jesus Christ. Don't take the beating anymore.
Your name is Toby.
Fuck my life, dude.
That's so bad. I can't
everywhere.
Imagine being so mad at a child that you hit him like that. I can't imagine it.
No, it's arms, face. The back is horrifying, and the arms and the face.
It looks like the cheeks on the left side of his face were hit because he was swinging so wildly at his back that he just tagged him in the face. That's
what it looked like. It almost looks like a buckle mark up there. Yeah. I don't know. So Joan said she deleted the pictures off the camera, then sent them to herself in an email so Kit wouldn't find them on the camera and get mad at her. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Joan also tells investigators that Kit would slap her across the face whenever she tried to intervene when he was abusing Elijah. She said he would choke her to the point of nearly losing consciousness, which seems to be a routine, a thing. Common theme here. She claimed that Kit would threaten to kill her if she ever left him. So, according to Joan, also, here are some more accusations from Joan once this all comes out and the divorce is on the table here. According to Joan, while in Germany, Kit once held one of the little girls by her foot and dangled her off the balcony of a 3-story marble staircase and laughed. He was just doing a Michael Jackson impersonation. That's all.
Funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. She said he would whip the other little girl with the Roman-style whip. He would take baths nude with the girls, telling them they had to get comfortable with nudity because they were in Europe and there was a lot of nudity in Europe.
How about no?
No, just because you can have your tits out at the beach doesn't mean there should be a cock floating in your fucking baby's bathwater. I don't think so. Totally different thing there, guys.
You said that?
Wow. Joan also told a story about Kit punching Elijah in the face so hard that it knocked his glasses off. And then she said Kit stomped on his glasses with his foot and crushed them. Which is like, joke's on you, asshole. Now you got to buy me new glasses.
Right. You just made yourself a bill, you moron.
When I go to school and I can't fucking see, they're gonna send a letter home going, get this kid glasses. He can't see.
You just cost yourself $400.
That was stupid of you. Joan also told the investigators that she took the concealed carry class at Cal's house because she feared for her life and wanted to protect herself from Kit.
Right.
Joan said, quote, I just felt trapped. I felt like I could not get out and it was hopeless. In the beginning of the relationship, I thought he just needed help or counseling, but as time went on, I wanted out. I just wanted to get us out. So the agent asked her if she could expand on her fears, and she said, I was afraid he was going to kill me, and I was afraid he was going to kill or seriously hurt one of my children. My son was trying to protect me as he got older, and I was afraid he was going to get seriously injured or killed as time went on.
Okay.
That's a pretty on the nose statement there. Mm-hmm. So, wow. Now, Alma, one of the kids also said, I think that's the one kid, said that she said that Kit told her if she or any of the other kids told anyone about the abuse, he would kill them. She said that if any of them had a black eye, they were supposed to say they ran into something.
Right.
she claimed that when they lived in Germany, he always walked around naked. I'm just being German. You're lucky I'm not pooping on stuff. Just, it's cool.
Lederhosen, was that somewhere else? I don't know.
No, that's Germany, yeah.
Is it? All right, yeah, that's very awkward and uncomfortable clothing. You
that's
can't
it. Well,
that's everywhere.
Especially when that's all you're wearing.
Yeah.
Just that, with your cock dangling down. It's not good.
I'm putting the hose in hosen.
Exactly. My own version of Lederhosen. So Elijah tells us a story about how Kit injured his foot. He said that he was in a barn and didn't put a lid on a container correctly, Elijah did. And he said that Kit got angry, pushed him down, and scraped his foot on the barrel. The picture that they all paint of Kit was that he's a lunatic and that he would basically just be horrible for them.
Yeah.
They said that he treated his biological children well, but not them. Some evil stepdad shit they're claiming here. They said that the biological kids would get new clothes and nice things while these kids had to shop at Goodwill. He's like, well, they're not my kids. I ain't fucking buying them clothes. So the one daughter said when she started her period, Kit called her fat, ugly, and worthless. And that Elijah said he was often called an idiot, a loser, a four eyes, and a dork.
4 eyes.
4 eyes. Yeah. Hey, 4 eyes. How'd you like the... It's bad enough going to school. You got to come home and you're like, oh, fuck, this is worse than gym class. Jesus Christ, man. He's going to start pegging me with a kickball next. Yeah, just fucking over and over again.
At least I can fight those kids. We're the same size. This guy just wants to call me a dork and then body slam me.
Yeah, he's a fucking major in the army. He wants to choke me out.
He's going to DDT me after he calls me 4.
No shit. Elijah said that Kit had a friend who was a police officer. He said that on the night of the big argument that Kit's friend said that he didn't see any signs of abuse, this police officer. Right. Elijah said he and his mom had large red marks across her face, or he said his mom had large red marks across her face, and one of the daughters added that Kit threatened to kill her that night if she said anything to the police. So these are the accusations that are leveled against Kit.
They're heavy. Holy shit.
They're fucking heavy. So during all this, by the way, she moves out and all that kind of stuff. He has another girlfriend. So at one point, her name is Laura. They interview Laura. The police go to interview Laura to do a welfare check on her to make sure that she's not full of black eyes and belt marks and shit like that. Laura told the investigators she was aware of the allegations against him, and Laura told the cops she coaxes her kids to lie about things that happened.
Oh?
Yeah. But I guess the investigators tried to question, basically kept asking her if she was in an abusive relationship, and kept asking and asking. Now, there's this book that is very much a Kit's the Man book, basically. Mm-hmm. And they say that the cops harassed her to the point of badgering her to see if she was in an abusive relationship. Okay. I think they're doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do, right?
Oftentimes somebody in an abusive relationship will say no. You
have
to ask several times in several different ways.
Assure them you can keep them safe, things like that. Yeah.
It's going to be okay. If you feel that you are threatened, they ask different verbiage to get them to admit, because eventually
it's like you're being extorted by the mafia. You ask them the first time, the mafia extorting you? No. Vinny's my pal. No, we're great. No, we're tight.
Is he charging you money for what he calls
protection? No. I mean, I lend him a couple of bucks once in a while, but that's just because Vinny gambles. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Has there ever been any mysterious fires around here?
Well, no. Well, actually there was, but not after I started loaning Vinny money. Then they all stopped.
Are you catching on?
See what I'm saying? You got to keep going with it. So they asked about Kit's temper and whether she had ever witnessed him losing it. She replied she'd never seen Kit lose his temper with her or anyone else. Yeah. They showed her the picture of the alleged abuse of Elijah. Right. And her quote was, she said that the agent told her women don't often want to admit they're in an abusive relationship at the time, or they miss early abusive behavior. Let me show you this. Laura said she was a nurse and knew the signs of abuse. She told them that she had endured 17 years of verbal abuse by her previous husband and would not allow herself or her kids to be around that kind of abuse again. And they talked to her kids, and I guess her kids, one of them described Kit as cool and said the only time he ever heard Kit yell was at the dogs. Okay. The other kid said that she felt safe, didn't have any concerns, and that Kit never abused or touched her inappropriately. Okay, so there's that. Anyway, they said that while they looked around here, they didn't find any Roman whip anywhere, by the way. Well, they just, they didn't have like a search warrant looking through the house.
Just a browsing, sure.
Yeah, and Laura told them she didn't know anything about bamboo sticks. Huh. Yeah, that's it. So Kit now, he complains. He says Joan abandoned him. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says that basically Kit learned that, I guess, when he was in Iraq, he learned that she wasn't getting along well with the other army wives. And before leaving Germany, Kit came home from work to find what he claimed was total chaos, with Joan cussing at Elijah and beating him and the girls screaming. And that's when he wanted a divorce at that point. Okay. That's when he first started wanting one, because she was out of her mind. Right. So September 11th, 2012, this is when Kit learns about the photographs that police have and that she has with Elijah. So this is 6 days after he asked her for a divorce and 7 days before there was an emergency protective order hearing. Now, in his statement, Kit mentioned the photographs in a statement to a family advocacy representative. He said, this is the representative said, I had a follow-up appointment. Oh, no, this is him. This is Kit. I had a follow-up appointment with LCDR Belgrave of the Family Advocacy Program. I was hoping this meeting might provide some information as to the health and safety of my stepchildren, as I had requested, or maybe a follow-on to my wife Joan's mental health. Instead, I learned that my wife had escalated her attacks and slander on me by claiming I had abused my children. She even produced photos of my stepson, EJ, apparently depicted extensive scratches or burns across his back. I had never seen these photos before, nor those alleged injuries. I was shocked by what they apparently showed and the accusation that I had done this. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he said that his first thought was, they told him these injuries occurred while you were living in Rhode Island. And he said, oh, I think I know what those were. That's not abuse. Those are rug burns from his jujitsu lessons I was giving him.
On his back like that? On his
face? Yeah, just all over himself. The rug burns.
What
from
kind
jiu-jitsu
of rug
lessons.
Are you wrestling on?
Get a mat, asshole. Yeah. Number one. Grab a mat, why don't you?
Crazy.
This is crazy. He said Elijah also practiced with a high school wrestling team for several months when they first moved to Pembroke. Another possibility Kit offers was that Joan may have been the one who caused the injuries.
Okay.
He said, the only time I've ever witnessed a serious incident with my stepson was when I returned home from work one day while stationed in Germany. I heard yelling and screaming from the backyard and thought someone was hurt. When I ran around the corner, I saw my son EJ, which it's J-E, it's Justin Elijah. It's so weird. Okay. On the second rung of the ladder, about a foot off the ground.
It's Elijah Justin. He goes,
it's Justin Elijah, and he goes by Elijah or EJ. Don't get it.
Okay.
Whatever. His sister Alma was on the subroof of the main roof above him, and my wife Joan was beating EJ with a broom or a stick across the back and shoulders, yelling obscenities such as fucking pussy and fucking coward. Wow. I yelled at her, but she didn't seem to notice I was there. I didn't know how long she'd been doing this, but I had to restrain her to get her to stop. Imagine being the Germans, what they thought of all this if this happened. Like, fucking America. Just what we all thought, everybody. Holy shit. Nope, no, it's Jerry Springer. Yeah, I know, we got it out here. Same thing.
Yeah.
I was then finally able to ask what happened. She told me Alma had gone to retrieve a toy stuck on the roof and then was afraid to come back down, so she told EJ to get her. I don't know why Joan didn't do it. EJ was apparently also very afraid of heights and could not climb the ladder past the second rung, so Joni had gotten violently upset and started beating him. He says, I mention this only as a statement of fact, not to counter my allegations. Oh, no, just like to give all the information.
Yeah, just the facts, man.
Now, here's the problem with Joan. It comes out when they file for divorce and everything. She's already married.
What?
She never divorced her husband, Carlos. She's still married to him.
She's a polygamist.
Yes. A bigamist anyway.
Yeah.
A polygamist would be if she was living with both of them, but she's a bigamist anyway. So,
oh, boy.
She's a bigamist here, so there's going to be bigamy charges against her for that. She's going to plead guilty to charge of bigamy and granted a pre-trial diversion. They're not going to put her in fucking prison for that, but yeah. Now, the military is going to charge Kit with various offenses relating to the mishandling of classified information from the laptop and the disks and physical abuse of the boy as well. Now, there is a court-martial scheduled. December 15, 2015, there's a court-martial hearing scheduled here. And Cal is supposed to testify at that court-martial hearing about finding everything here, because that's part of it, is where they got the shit from.
He's a rat, so yeah.
Absolutely. Cal and Pam made several statements to individuals indicating that their fear that Kit would come and kill them, or if anything happened to them, tell the cops to look at Kit. Because we're going to testify against him, and at best, he's going to lose his pension, which he's not going to be fucking happy about.
He's going to be very upset,
Very upset. So after a bunch of continuances, court-martial proceedings scheduled for December 2015. Now, November the 18th, 2015, less than a month away from these court-martial proceedings. Pam, Cal's wife, Pam, left for work around 7 a.m., Now, around noon, she was informed that a washing machine she had ordered could not be delivered to her home because no one was there, which is a nightmare. If you order appliances, you have no idea when they're coming.
Yeah. And they give you a fucking window, 8 to 10, 8 to noon, whatever the fuck.
But you have no idea when they're coming. And then when they do come, you not only have to be there, you have to be like ready with the door open and the place open for them to put it, and it's all prepared. And
hope you bought the hoses.
And the
hope
hoses.
You bought the plug.
Oh, my God. So,
I bought a fucking refrigerator. There's no plug. Are you shitting me?
Are you fucking Jesus Christ? How is that possible? Yeah, I remember
plug
that.
Doesn't fit the new fridge. What the fuck is going on?
Every washing machine.
Yeah.
They sell you a plug.
Everything. Yeah. They sell you a plug. What?
How?
Charge me $50 more and give me the motherfucking plug.
Yeah. How the hell am I supposed to? Is there a choice here? Run it with no plug? What are we talking about?
Did you not do that in case I buy it in Germany and you can put the right plug? You know where you're sending it. Send the plug.
Is this a solar washer? Do I put it out in the yard for a few hours and then it's got enough juice to do a load? What do I do? How does this work?
Who the fuck is so cheap that they're like, take $50 off and I'll buy it? Well, then you don't get the plug. Deal. What?
Deal.
Who
Good.
does that? What?
It's
just
insane.
Give me the fucking plug.
Give me the plug, please. So she was informed the washing machine was there. She was concerned, so she left work earlier than usual, around 5 p.m. Because she usually leaves at 6, but she's leaving at 5, even though it was at noon when the call came. Now, Cal's usually home, so that's why she's like, what are you talking about? There's nobody home. Cal's home. So she left at 5 to go check on Cal because she hasn't heard from him. And this is 2015, so people are always incessantly texting each other, and hasn't heard from him, and no one could deliver the washing machine. She arrived at her residence and called her friend Frances Marlene LaRock here. She said, hey, Frances, have you seen Cal? So Frances said she had called Cal earlier in the day to check on his sick dog, but nobody answered. Oh, what a nice person. She called to check on the sick dog. A text would have been sufficient, I think, there. Don't call me for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Both are thoughtful, I suppose.
It's not thoughtful to call someone out of the blue for no reason. That's not thoughtful. It's like giving someone like a bill for something. That's like not thoughtful. Text. If they want to call, I'll tell you all about it. I'll call you or something. But don't just assume they want to get on the phone and talk to you. I think older people might be different, though.
Good afternoon. Let's talk about depressing shit.
Yeah. I think older people are different with. They're okay with getting phone calls.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's like probably. 55 and over are okay with getting phone calls. 55 and under is like, you called me for what? How could this could have been accomplished way easier in a text. Why are you doing this?
Text me and see if it's okay.
Yeah, text me and see if I'm busy first.
Hey, you want to talk?
That's all. No? Okay. There you go. Just saved us both an awkward conversation.
Yeah. Can't imagine why you wouldn't want to talk about your dog with cancer.
Weird, right? So Marlene also said she had gone to the Phillips residence around 2 p.m. and found the front door open, which was unusual, but she assumed Cal was working out in the back field and just left the door open. So Pam told Marlene to hold the line because she saw something. Now, she's at home, Pam. She's looking around. Now Marlene heard a scream as if someone had been startled and then silence. Okay, a scream and then silence, and that was it. Never heard from her again.
Okay.
So Marlene returned. She gets in the car to go drive over and check on Pam, and she found the front door open, but no one there. No one answering. But yelling, hello, no one's answering shit. Yeah. So Pam's car, I guess at that time, Pam's car was parked in the driveway normally, like it normally is. About an hour later, so Marlene didn't call the cops or anything like that. She left and came back an hour later. Okay, so she returned to check on them. At this time, Pam's car had been moved to face the other direction, and the front door of the house was closed.
Okay.
So you'd go, okay, well, they're around. Yeah. And that's what she figured. She figured, well, they must have come home or whatever the fuck. I don't know. That's what they do.
Well,
so she just left.
Pam's back and everything's fine.
She just left it alone at that point. She figured everything's fine. And so whatever. So that morning at 2:15 a.m. Okay, so middle of the night, a nearby neighbor named John Homick was awakened by the sound of 2 explosions or gunshots coming from somewhere on his farm, he said. He thought the sounds were possibly caused by trespassing hunters, so he didn't investigate any. He's like, I'm not going to go out there and get shot by idiots at 3 a.m. That's stupid. Yeah. So later that morning, he went outside and saw a car smoldering in his field.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, a car burned to shit in his field.
Those hunters killed the car.
Fucking, they got themselves a Pontiac Grand Am, it looks like. That's a,
I don't have my tag for that. Let's get out of here.
It ain't even in season. Let's go. It ain't Pontiac season. We got to get out of here.
Shit. He's going to arrest us. We got to run.
God damn it. I said I was after Mustangs, but damn it, this is ridiculous.
High knees, T-Roy. Let's go.
Let's go. Move it. So the police look inside the vehicle when they get there and discover that there are 2 sets of human remains inside the burnt vehicle as well. 2 bodies. 2 burnt up bodies inside this vehicle. Boy. So the vehicle is registered to Cal and Pam Phillips.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Now, here we go. All right. There's more to this as well, by the way, here, as we'll talk about. Quite a lot more. So the cops head over to Cal's here. Yeah. They head over to Cal's residence where they discover because they get that call and they have the registration. So they go to the house. When they get to the house, they find that Cal is at home.
Huh?
But he's dead.
Oh, shit.
His remains are in the cellar among more signs of a fire being set around him.
So someone tried to burn the house down.
Someone tried, either that or Cal killed whoever that was and then went home and tried to off himself and burn the house down. One of the 2.
What the fuck?
So police continued to search the property and they discovered blood in the backyard next to a distinctive World War II era pistol, which was known to belong to the Phillips neighbor, Ed Danzero, who's 63 years old.
Ed Danzero's got a pistol in their yard.
In their yard. Subsequent testing indicates the blood in the yard belongs to Ed Danzero, not to Cal.
What the fuck?
This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Pam's blood was also discovered on the back door and in the yard. They discover that the remains are super burnt in the car. They get them in. They finally process and figure out that the fucking bodies are Pam and Ed Denzero in the car. And then Cal is dead in the basement.
Okay.
Fucking crazy. Their injuries, by the way, you'll probably want to know about here because it's a lot. Cal suffered 5 gunshot wounds.
Wow.
And blunt force trauma to different locations of his body.
He was tortured and shot a lot.
Fucking wild. They said there are 2 kinds of gunshot wounds, penetrating and perforated. A penetrating wound means that the bullet remained in the body. A perforated wound means that it through and through. Yeah. So Calvin had both types of those.
Okay.
They said as for the blunt force trauma injuries, they said that the injuries were to the face and upper and lower extremities. So that's the whole body as far as I'm concerned, or at least legs and arms and face. In response here, they also say the trauma injuries occurred ante-mortem or before death. It's important because it indicated that he was beaten before he was shot.
Right.
They said they asked if the injuries could have been caused by a butt of a gun, and they said they could have. That's what the doctor says. The facial injuries, though, were occurred near the time of death. They were perimortem. And they said this lends credence to the possibility that all the blunt force injuries may have occurred due to the victim being tossed down the cellar stairs while still alive. Okay. Blood on the stairs and a tooth discovered under his body also suggest that he may have been dumped down the stairs face first, possibly by, anybody throwing him down there. Who knows? So, one finding that wasn't fully explained related to the bullets here. There's different types, different bullets. Trocars, is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Bullet. They're designed to separate after the bullet hit the target, such as skin.
Okay.
Come apart in you.
Right away, huh?
Yeah. They said Calvin had 3 entrance injuries like that to the left side of his chest, indicating that the bullets had separated before entering the body.
Oh, God.
One possible scenario is that at least one shot fired at him hit something else first, causing them to separate. Yeah. He sustained 3 penetrating gunshot wounds to his chest. They were still in the body. Other ones were in the neck and the right clavicle. They were perforated, meaning they exited. Yeah. The bullet bases from the 2 perforated gunshots were never recovered, and they don't know. So they don't know if the shots were fired outside, inside. They don't know what. They said the trocar, I guess that's how you say it, entry wounds also support the possibility of one bullet striking something like anything, a window or mirror or anything like that, breaking off from the main bullet. Mm-hmm. The gunshot wound to the neck entered Calvin's left ear but exited the right side lower on the neck. There's also a smaller exit wound where the trocars exited. All exit wounds were lower on the neck than the entrance wounds. The same is true for the perforated wounds on the right clavicle. The exit wounds were lower than the entrance wounds. So we're talking from above. The trajectory of the bullets suggests that they were fired from above. This could also indicate someone standing over Calvin as he shot. Any of that shit is possible. So Pam Phillips and Ed here, and Ed Denzero. Here we go. Almost Jerry Springer. Dr. Jeffrey Springer enters the equation here.
Here you go, Jeff.
Medical examiner for Kentucky here. He has his brother. He examined Pam and Ed. They said both bodies had been consumed in the automobile fire. The doctor was able to examine the remains that were recovered from the front passenger seat and the rear passenger seat of the car.
Front and back.
It's front and back. So they were driven there.
Right.
And no one was put in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
It's not even trying to act like they did this themselves.
Right. That's just putting 2 passengers and then getting out.
Getting the fuck out. X-rays of both victims revealed bullet fragments in their brains. In Pam's case, the X-ray also showed the presence of a mostly intact .22 caliber bullet in the charred remains of her heart. Oh. So, yeah. Interesting. This is a fucking mess, obviously. An absolute mess.
How did Ed die?
Gunshots as well. Same thing. Yeah, gunshots. Gunshots and burning. Yeah, multiple gunshot wounds. So Okay, there was a .22. They recovered fragments from the bodies of Ed and Pam and confirmed they'd both been shot multiple times with a .22 caliber firearm. Okay. Now, several hairs were recovered from the vehicle, from Danzero's vehicle. Okay, not the one they were burning in. This had been located between his residence and Pam's Burton vehicle, his car, somewhere in the middle. Yeah. While certain hairs were consistent with a sample taken from Kit, only one hair was suitable for definitive DNA testing, and it, I guess, apparently didn't match Kit. All right. Now, projectile fragments recovered from the bodies of Pam and Ed confirmed they'd been shot multiple times, like we said. Kit owned several .22 caliber firearms as well. Forensic testing was inconclusive, meaning that the examiner could neither confirm nor exclude the possibility that the recovered fragments were linked to his .22 caliber firearms. There was a lot of damage to the bullets. Yeah. So that's hard. Cal was killed by a unique G2 RIP 45 caliber bullets. That's what he was killed with. Unique bullets fired from a Glock. He suffered several gunshot wounds and blunt force trauma, like we said. The police found a 45 caliber Glock pistol when they searched Kit's home. When they searched his safe at home. And forensic testing of the fragments was inconclusive again. No ballistics on this. So nothing happens. No arrests are made.
Yeah, because this gun doesn't match it. Yeah.
Nothing matches it. Well, they don't know if it matches. It's just not, they can't tell if it matches it.
Okay. All right.
It's just, if the fragments are too fucked up, they don't know. If they say it could have been, they can tell you whether it could have been or couldn't have been.
But it can't.
But they can't,
the other word.
Deny.
Exclude.
What you're looking for. Exclude. Yeah. So the Phillips property was processed for evidence on 3 separate occasions, November 19th, November 30th, and December 4th, 2015. They keep coming back to process to look for more shit. Now, a neighbor named Mark Harris lived next door to Danzero and across the street from Kit and Pam. And he said in 2015 he could sense something was wrong on the street. Caught a weird vibe on the street. This is what Mark said. Mark said that he went and talked to he was talking to Cal and said, he told me about a week before this happened, I need to stay away from here. There's something going on bad. Cal told him that. Yeah. So now the neighbor, his theory is that Kit went to Cal Phillips' home, killed him in the basement, and then Ed and Pam were collateral damage. Yeah, it seems like he waited for fucking Pam to get there.
Right.
And then nailed her. He probably hid. And then fucking popped out because that's where a scream would come from, then silence. She probably saw Cal, screamed, holy shit, and then that was that. He went out and got her at that point.
And then maybe Ed heard the scream? I don't know.
That's possible. Yeah, Ed might have come over. Who the hell knows? Ed might have seen.
Seems like they all just involved themselves with each other, so they're going to be
a little
around
much.
Each other. Yeah.
Totally. This guy said, I don't know what was said. Took him to the basement of the house, maybe found him in there, and he walked in and shot him. So who knows? Now, they talked to Elijah, the son here, Joan's son, and he's saying that Kit's a fucking monster. He said in public he'd be the nicest person you'd ever meet, but behind closed doors, phew, he was a monster.
There's one thing that will forever change the way you sleep, and it's the softest 100% organic cotton bedding from Boll & Branch. You'll fall asleep faster wrapped in the most luxurious comfort. You'll never sleep hot again with airy blankets, cloud-like duvets, and breathable sheets. You'll experience pure comfort on night one and feel your bedding get softer with every wash. Discover the difference with 15% off your first order at bollandbranch.com with code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Yeah, that's what.
And he also
people do.
He says that they're not going to be like, I love beating the shit out of my kids out in public. At work, they usually don't say that.
Yeah.
So they also said, do you think that your stepfather did this? And he said he's 100% because of the person he was being behind closed doors. Okay. So a private investigator working for the defense team in the court-martial case now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this private investigator had interviewed Cal Phillips 2 weeks before the murder. In the interview, the detective was convinced that something would turn the entire case on his head. He said something that nobody else knew, that Cal Phillips would have flipped on Joan and testified for Kit. That's what he says. But there's no proof of that. The private investigator wrote in an email to police, it's the professional opinion of Mary Martins that Calvin Phillips was murdered in order to prevent his testimony on behalf of the defense. Think about that. Witness statements strongly point to Joan Harmon as the person most likely to benefit from his silence. So, here is what their theory is.
Joan is fucking badass.
Joan did this because if she was alive and she could have gotten a really good settlement from the military about the abuse shit. She could have gotten a settlement from the military. That's what his defense attorney's saying. Yeah. Rather than it's Kit who did it because he doesn't want them testifying against him.
Yeah.
They're saying Cal was going to testify actually for Kit, and Joan found out and killed 3 people over it.
So both of these sides are going to say that the other person did it because his testimony would benefit them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So Kit said that she knew that was her last chance to ruin my career. And she couldn't do it. Now, by the way, the evidence against him is there's all sorts of physical evidence about the laptop shit because the military is still looking into that.
Right.
The CDs labeled secret in the laptop computer. Also, a thumb drive and an HP personal computer that Kit had given to Joan also turned in for analysis. And also, Kit said, this is when he was brought in and questioned about the laptop. He said, I do not know how the FBI gained sensitive information that has my name associated with it. I may have been hacked in the past.
Oh, no.
There we go. He literally went to hacked. That's the last bastion of a truly desperate jerk-off that's been caught doing something bad. I got hacked.
The admission of guilt without saying I did it.
Yes, exactly.
Ever present anytime anybody says I was hacked. Okay,
I was hacked, man. If that is not the case, I believe that my ex-wife, and he put wife in parentheses, in quotes, by the way, not ex part, wife, like she was never his wife, may have found sensitive items on some damaged discs she stole, along with most of the items from my house, and then turned them into the police as a part of her ongoing plan to ruin me out of spite.
Yeah.
She did this even though I provided sole support to her and her children for 9 years, and she was the one that had an affair. I have consistently had to defend myself against accusations made by my ex, quote, wife. And then in parentheses, that I later learned was a bigamist and that I was not even legally married to. Since I asked for a divorce in September of 2012, I was forced to call the police when she became violent. She vowed to ruin my career and has utilized every venue to do so. She's continued to harass me and has even recently vandalized my vehicles. She has accused me of abuse and then later abuse toward her children, charges which I have been cleared. Despite her documented perjury, I've continually had to defend myself in a guilty until proven innocent system for the last 10 months, as well as attend family advocacy training and FAT, that would be, which is hilarious, and have my name listed on a FAT blacklist. that is used to check soldiers' backgrounds prior to promotion or command assignment. Oh, my God. He said when Kit learned about the charges against him, he still held out hope he could prevail in a court-martial trial. Kit's attorneys, though, they informed him that he was facing serious charges that could end his career and put him behind bars for a very long time. So the court-martial hearing here, he is convicted of charges here. We'll talk about this here. One of the guys involved in the trial, one of the lawyers, said it was one of the most heated trials I've ever been in the military. It's his charges that he has classified information and sexually assaulted a child.
They got him on that too.
Yeah, they're charging him with it. They have little girls who said he touched them. So I mean, got to do it. He was basically found not guilty of some charges, and then he was convicted of mishandling classified information and simple assault. So he gets cleared of the major charges, and they give him like lesser shit for this. And he was sentenced to 90 days in prison.
Okay.
That's what he got. He was also dismissed from the Army as well. And also forfeiture of all pay and allowances and a reprimand.
That's all over.
Shit out of luck. So now he became a huge fucking case for certain groups out there. Big time. I mean, lots of these groups. Basically, these, quote, men's rights groups were getting involved to try to help him out. That was a big deal.
I mean, he's convicted of hurting
he's
children, man.
Giant cause for these people to this day. It's a huge cause. So now Carlos and Joan were finally actually divorced on April 20th, 2016.
Oh, they figured it out, huh?
They figured it out, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
very nice.
Let's sign this
Whoops.
paperwork. Yeah.
So Kit here, after his 90 days, he heads to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Where he is going to get a job as a commercial airline pilot.
Really?
American fucking Airlines hired this man.
Really?
American Airlines, just everybody out there, so you know.
Assault. Okay.
American Airlines, we hire anybody.
Yeah.
It's actually
we got planes.
One of their subsidiaries, PSA Airlines.
Oh, it's the little, it's the little ones.
I got a PSA for
Carolina?
you. Don't fly that airline.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck it is, but
did you say he moved? You said he moved.
He's in North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, he's flying out of Charlotte. Yeah.
Well, no, because I think he's going to end up in Norfolk. This is going to be his home base. It's a weird thing. So, the PSA is wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines and operates an all-jet American Eagle fleet.
Right. So,
he began working there. He wasn't the oldest pilot in his new hire class. They said there was guys older than him, and he was almost 50. So, he liked that. Basically, he said he didn't like the small jet was less responsive and nimble than an Apache attack helicopter.
Is that right?
No shit.
Surprise, surprise. It's not delivering payload of fucking weaponry, sir.
The American Eagle fucking 930 to Palm Springs isn't fucking as nimble as an attack helicopter with missiles on it.
Jesus Christ.
A plane that was built in...
It's the tiny ones with the 2-in-1, James. That's what they are. That's the American
ones
Eagle
built in 1987 that have a fucking welded shut ashtray on the fucking thing. You think those aren't as nimble as an Apache attack helicopter, huh?
Can't do barrel rolls in this?
Weird. He said, the Apache had full color screens with 3D map presentations. Because people were shooting at you.
Yeah.
They assume
the Apple green screen.
Yeah. They fucking assume that the PSA flight to St. Louis isn't going to be under attack, probably.
It's not flying through enemy territory, man.
They assume it's just going to be a,
But to make it feel more
out
real,
of ginger ale at the most.
He does fly it with night vision.
He's like, can I just wear night vision so I feel cool? Let me just put the goggles on while I fly.
It's 10 p.m., man. It's dark.
So he had a choice of pilot bases, and he chose Norfolk, Virginia, which is a 2-hour drive from Roanoke. He said he liked the small town feel, and he found a hotel near the water and all that kind of shit. So he was a reserve pilot. Then he could bid on 4-day trips, which would limit the amount of time of commuting. So he could only commute once and then go back. Now, during this, a couple of years have gone by since the Phillipses and Ed Denzero have been murdered. Mm-hmm. And the families are getting pissed off here.
Fuck yeah.
We're like, what happened? And as we found out in other cases on this show, where the worst was the Brighton, New York one, where the cops were like, I don't know, we didn't have the family in here banging on our desks saying, please solve the crime, so it just goes to the back burner.
Yeah.
We need motivation, guys. Come on, come in and motivate us. Fuck you. Fucking
it's not
goddamn
fair.
solve this shit.
Do this job with no credit.
Yeah. Because if your family member's murdered and they don't arrest somebody immediately, you got to bother them or they will just give up. That's how it works. So the Kentucky Attorney General said in a video statement that his office has now picked up the case after the Phillips' son came into the office. He said about 2 years ago, Matt Phillips came into my office. He talked about losing both of his parents in a brutal murder that also took the life of a third individual. He was worried that the case was stalled and was worried that justice would not come. He said that of the whole thing, Phillips had, he told CNN, by the way, that his father had evidence that was harmful to Kit's military case. And he also said that Kit was shamefully kicked out of the military. He said, my father had a lot to do with that. And I think we should all be thankful for that, frankly, that this guy isn't fucking flying attack helicopters. Wow. So he said he, meaning his dad, handed over pictures of a sub-16-year-old boy that had been bitten, choked violently multiple times. He also told CNN, he said that his dad also handed over discs that had classified information and should have never left an army post. Now, Kit's lawyer, he said that no, it's they got it totally backwards. Cal was going to defend us, actually. Mm-hmm. So no motivation. He said that, he said if their motive is that he killed Calvin Phillips because he was going to testify in his upcoming court-martial, well, that was nothing further from the truth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, there's cameras everywhere, by the way, now. Yeah. 2016, cameras are everywhere.
We have some footage of something.
Well, following this, I guess Phillips's son, this is Cal and Pam's son, Matt, and his Aunt Diana installed cameras at the residence, at the Phillips residence. Okay. Just to make sure, because it was secured, and they wanted to make sure that nobody was breaking into it or anything. So they secured cameras.
And it's a little late, but we should have had these in the first place.
We should have had them in the first place. So several months later, Diana notices in a metallic object under some wood on the breezeway to the back porch. This is on the camera, so they went out and looked. Yeah. She showed the object to Matt, who recognized it and realized it was a shell casing.
Oh!
So he called the cops.
Yeah.
And, police had concerns regarding the circumstances surrounding the discovery of the evidence, how you found it, whatever, but they did it. And in 2018, testing reveals the casing was fired from
a 45.
Kit Martin's Glock 45.
Hey!
His gun, too. They finally had some shit. Yep. They got the casing, and it worked out very well.
Do we got a fingerprint from his thumb putting it in the fucking mag?
We don't have that, but we have his gun, his casing.
That's not good.
A lot of his motive. Uh-huh. Also, this is fucking great. There's some issues here. They have phone data records that show on November 18th, 2015, which was the early morning, late night time that this murder happened. Kit set his alarm on his phone to wake him up at 1:10 a.m.
Whoa.
Remember, the murders happened at 2-something in the morning.
Right.
That's when the explosion was heard and gunshots heard and the farm property.
Why are you trying to wake up so early, Kit?
So, okay, obviously the state is saying that he used that time to sneak out of the front door of his home, move the bodies, and burn the vehicle that they were found in. Do all that shit. That's what they say. Now, his explanation is gold when he testifies. We'll get to that. Okay. May 11th, 2019 here, they talk about, because he hasn't been arrested or anything. This is just evidence they have.
Right.
So May 11th, 2019. Now, Kit here, he doesn't like some of the younger pilots that he works with. Just doesn't like them. Yeah. They just don't get. They're not military guys. They're not like him. He likes the older guys who's in the military. Yeah, they're doing this for pussy. So he almost backed out of the trip when he saw who he was paired with. But he said he could have called in sick because he was off probation and with the company and everything. But he said he didn't want to fuck anything up, so he figured he'd just do the trip and be done with it. So He treated the 2 flight attendants to dinner at Panera Bread on their first layover.
Boy.
The captain, whom Kit didn't like, was in good spirits, so that was good. The second day of the 4-day trip had a layover in Louisville, and the captain was planning on meeting up with a girl he knew in the area, and everything was going to be all fun here.
Yeah.
So they get back on the flight to fly out of Louisville here. And I'll let a passenger take over from here. This is Ashley Martin of Elizabethtown, who has no relation to Kit, by the way. Just Martin's a common last name. She says it was like something you would totally see in a movie. Her and her mother, Frances, were at the airport boarding American Airlines Flight 5523 from Louisville to Charlotte. And the mother said it was very tense. I think it was very tense. You could tell the employees knew something was going on. They said when they first heard their pilot had been arrested, they took him off the fucking plane, bro.
Oh,
it's hilarious.
Shit.
They both assumed he must have been shit-faced, probably.
Right,
Probably showed up drunk.
That was a very
they do that
common
all
thing.
the time. Later in the day, though, they learned different. And the mother said, "Oh my gosh!" when they learned he was, in for murder. Ashley Martin said, "It's startling. It's scary to think that this happened so long ago, and they're just now getting around to catching the guy."
Right.
Then the mother said, "We were inconvenienced a lot." She's still looking for fucking free fucking miles here or something. Yeah, this is crazy.
We need a room. We need a dinner.
Give me a couple upgrades here. What are we doing?
We need first class. Also, what if that guy found out mid-flight, somehow found out mid-flight that he was going to be arrested when he landed and just drove this motherfucker into a mountain?
In the ground. Decided,
oh, my God.
We're going to Bolivia, everybody. That's where we're going. Rerouting this flight. We're going to Cuba.
This is your captain speaking. It's going to be hot where we're going because we are destined for hell.
We're going to be headed for Cuba. Change of plans, everybody. Might want to contact your loved ones in your destination city. Let them know you've been rerouted to Cuba.
Perhaps Google the nearest consulate. We're going to be landing. We're going to be landing in the water.
Not sure of the legalities of our attempted immigration. So.
Hope you brought your passport. Enjoy the flight.
Mother, we're inconvenienced a lot. Like missed an entire day of a vacation that's been planned and saved for an entire year.
I can't imagine.
Better than being flown into a mountain, probably. So they were going to St. Lucia. Going to an island.
Oh, yeah, we're going down to the fucking Bahamas.
Yeah. If you were in Kentucky and you thought you'd be in an island in 3 hours, I guess that would piss you off. That's way different.
Where are the fucking bananas and coconuts? This is
bullshit. Someone get me a pina colada or I'm going to stab somebody.
It was a very hot, bare-chested man.
She said, the daughter said, I was definitely stressed. It felt like it was a little chaotic and unorganized. The workers, you could tell they were stressed. You could feel the energy. You could feel the tension from the flight attendants. And then there's an American Airlines statement they give out here.
What do they say?
That's what you get for flying American. Go fuck your mothers. Oh, no, that's... What do you expect? It's American. Fuck you.
We're the largest carrier in the country. We hire anybody.
Hire anybody. By the way, if we lose your bag, we're keeping it. Fuck off. All of us at American Airlines and PSA
You'll fly with us again. It's cheap.
It's cheap. We might be going where you're going when no one else goes there.
Nobody else is going there. You'll fly with us. See you on the next flight.
That would be me in an American Airlines seat in a commercial. I'd be going, they were the only ones flying to where I needed to go. I thought about taking a layover to fly a better airline here, but I just said fuck it.
Nonstop to Norfolk doesn't exist.
I just said fuck it, and then they come on, American Airlines, fuck it. That's their new slogan, and that's it.
Yeah.
I just said fuck it. I'll take a chance.
One of us, me or my bag, will get there.
Oh, my God. All of us at American Airlines and PSA Airlines are deeply saddened to have learned about these allegations from 2015. Our team was made aware of the indictment this morning after his arrest at Louisville International Airport. We have an unwavering... Who cares? Okay. He was placed on administrative suspension pending the outcome.
Wow.
They must really need pilots. They're like, he might get off. Hey, remember that one guy we hired? Look, he's on trial for triple murder right now, but he could get off. Yeah. If he gets off, we could put him right in the schedule going and doing the Norfolk round again. I mean, it's
administrative suspension is with pay. That's crazy.
I think it is. That's awesome. Wow. So he is now indicted on 3 counts of murder, 2 counts of burglary, 1 count of arson, 1 count of attempted arson, and 3 counts of tampering with physical evidence.
Yeah, it's not good.
Wow. Okay, now it gets fun.
Yeah?
Well, a little bit after this, but he calls his mom from jail when he gets arrested. She picked up the phone and heard about accepting a call from an inmate and was like, what? And just hung up. She didn't have any idea. She was just like, that's crazy. Click, wrong number.
Prank caller, obviously.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. When his mom did find out, she had to be taken to the hospital she thought she was having a heart attack.
Really?
She's having an anxiety
She's
attack.
She's got to be 70-something years old, yeah.
Yeah, he's in his 50s, yeah. So, I mean, Christ, he's like 49 or some shit. So he pleads not guilty.
As you do.
His lawyer said his client would plead not guilty and said that's what they said basically like why, he said, why did they wait so long to indict him? He said, that's what we're all curious about. What evidence do they have that they didn't have almost 4 years ago? Well, a bullet that matches your gun is one. That's a big one.
You'll know.
That's a big one. Yeah. So he's arraigned. Elijah was there during the arraignment because they were asking him questions. And Elijah said this to a reporter. He gave an on-camera interview to a Nashville station. Sure. He said he would hide behind a mask out in public in front of everybody and act like he was this great major in the military. Behind closed doors, he was very evil. He was a tyrant. He was a monster, all of the above. I was the one he targeted most. Beat me all the time, smack me around, punch me, whatever. He then gave another example of maltreatment. He said, I was out mowing the lawn one day and I made the line a little too crooked, and he started smacking me around for it and told me I was doing it wrong, and then Cal came over and took me out of there. That's part of it. Cal apparently came over and helped him.
He's a little hero, yeah.
So that, I think, baby, it's not just the military stuff. Yeah. Cal knows about
He's well aware of what goes on over there.
Yes, that's what I mean. These people seem very enmeshed in their neighbors' lives and very fucking nosy, all of them. So everyone in this neighborhood knows exactly what's going on with everybody, it feels like.
Yeah. The kid's beating the kid again. I'm going to go get him.
So the news reporter stated that Elijah told him that he and his mother and sisters left immediately after the murders and they never doubted who was behind them. Elijah said, I believe that he took out the witnesses. I hope he gets the worst punishment that's available to him. Now, the venue is going to be transferred from Christian County to Hardin County. Little tiny venue. You got to move that shit because everybody heard about it. During an evidence suppression hearing, it was revealed that police requested Diana, the Phillips, the aunt of the kid of the Phillips son there, to submit to a polygraph examination, which she apparently failed. However, the trial court excluded the evidence at trial anyway. So they
what are the questions?
Basically, I don't know if they're trying to say that. The only thing I can think of, the defense is saying that they basically, the Phillipses went and got a shell casing from somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
And said they found it near where the murder happened. So that's what they said. But the bullet, the casing was still allowed into the trial. Other pretrial shit here, they said that the Commonwealth filed a notice of its intent to admit hearsay statements under the forfeiture by wrongdoing exception, which is in the law here. And that is about 2 weeks before he died. Cal told Stephen Durham that he feared Kit would kill him before the court-martial trial. Cal told a guy named Stephen Bollinger that if he ever ended up missing or dead, to point the authorities old Kit Martin's way. Cal told Major James Garrett, one of the prosecutors from the court-martial, that he was afraid of Martin because Martin knew he had provided the information that led to the court-martial. Pam told Penny Case that she and Cal were afraid to leave the house unoccupied because they were afraid Martin would be in the house when they got back.
Wow.
Pam told Case she was worried Martin would hurt her and the authorities should look at Martin if anything happened to her. So, okay. The court determined these statements were admissible under the forfeiture by wrongdoing exception. Okay. Now, he brings up in their defense, they're like, what about all these other deaths around Joan?
Oh.
Okay, listen to this. On June 28, 2015, an elderly couple was brutally attacked at their residence on Old Trenton Road in Guthrie, Kentucky. Both had been bound and beaten. Joan had been renting a house from the couple, not that house, not near there. That was just her landlord's.
Okay. Her landlords were beaten to death.
Yes, but they said it was unclear if they were her landlord at the time of the attack or not. They operated a large farm. Amos Yoder, who was 79, and his wife Marjorie Yoder died from severe head trauma there. Joan talked about the Yoder murders to her coworkers at the soda shop. She described the Yoders as being like grandparents to her kids. Over the following weeks, though, they said Joan seemed to come into a windfall. She bragged about new furniture and a car she had purchased. She showed up to work in new outfits. When asked where the money had come from for all these purchases, Joan said her mom had sent her money. Mm-hmm. They said the Yoder beatings are still unsolved and robberies believed to be the motive.
Okay, so she stole enough money to get...
So
that's the accusation?
Cal's defense team wants to put in that even though there is zero evidence she had anything to do with these people's murder or anything like that, he wants to put into evidence the fact that they were murdered and that she knew them and that she bought a new dress the next couple months.
She got a new couch.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Probably her.
So that means I'm innocent.
Okay, so that means because of that I didn't do this. Okay.
Sure. The victim's family statement here. Here they said that this is from all the families together. Cal Phillips, Pam Phillips, and Ed Danzaro were brutally extinguished beyond recognition from family. Did they say extinguished when two of them were burned to death?
What is
what
that?
The fuck is
Why did they do it? Why did they do it?
Your brain must do that. It must, because all these statements where you're like, what's the last thing you'd want to say?
Well,
constant. It's every fucking
Never
time.
Never make a pun about fire. Don't do it.
Just leave it out. Anything.
Wow.
Beyond
life force
recognition.
Was burned out of them.
It's totally unintentional, obviously.
Right. They're not doing it. They're not doing
crazy.
It for jokes.
No, I don't think they're trying to help us out. But thank you. Anyway, beyond recognition from the family. Every day we're haunted by what was done to them and haunted further that someone was still free to do as they wish beyond the civility of mankind or laws of our nation. We are overwhelmed with this positive step toward resolution for the people we love dearly, Cal, Pam, and Ed, and the hundreds of friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, and others deeply affected by their brutal end. We look forward to justice in court, and we look forward to a verdict to bring an end to this terror and start fresh start at healing. So 2021 here, Joan completed her pretrial diversion for her bigamy shit
great.
2 days prior to this trial.
Okay.
So because of that, I'm pretty sure they did this on purpose when they did the trial, the date for it. The state then filed a motion to exclude any reference to the bigamy charges since she wasn't under anything anymore.
Oh.
So they said, you can't talk about that.
Talk about that because she's not a bigamist anymore.
The trial court ruled that she could not be impeached with the bigamy conviction because it was dismissed as diverted, because she was in a diverted thing, which means it got dismissed. So as soon as it's got dismissed, technically she no longer did it. So you can't bring that up anymore. So that's what the court decided. So that won't come up in court that she was a bigamist, which is way different than a triple murderer, by the way. So it doesn't matter, really.
I mean, and who's to say that it was not just an accident? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perhaps she signed he signed one of them just didn't file it. You know what I mean?
Might just be lazy.
It's possible, man.
Pure lazy. Bad at paperwork.
Yeah.
So the defense, basically Kit's defense is the alt-perp defense.
Somebody else.
Somebody else. And they know not just somebody else, her.
Okay.
Fucking Joan.
Yeah.
Yep. She said Joan wanted to ruin him, so she had her boyfriend commit the murders and plant the shell on the Phillips porch to frame him.
Not only did I not do it, I've been framed.
I know I've been framed. Yes. My wife didn't do it. She manipulated another guy to do it. Then they framed me together.
Framed. Yeah.
Okay. So, at that point, because of the theory of the case, both Joan and Elijah both invoke their Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination on this because they can, I guess, their lawyers advise them to. If they're going to accuse them of crimes, don't let them accuse you of crimes and actually answer their questions in court. That's stupid. Okay. So, at a following hearing, the circuit court ordered that neither Joan nor the son could be called as a witness at trial. So they're both out. Which, I mean, it's pretty irrelevant, honestly, at this point, because it's a murder trial. It's not anything else.
But pleading the fifth has now become such a it means that you're guilty thing that, like, that could have been, if they called him, like, that could be, you know what I mean, helpful, because it could sway the jury. Any juror
Who knows?
Could just be like, I don't know, they won't even talk, so what are we talking about?
Exactly. That's you're absolutely right. You're not now anybody taking the fifth, the judges instruct the jurors that that is not allowed to be taken as anything but you're human beings.
Right.
You send 12 humans back in a room, they're not law books, they're humans, and they're going to think dumb shit because they're humans. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So in the openings here, the defense opening, they basically say that the whole opening is, it was Joan Harmon that did these murders, not my client. Also presented testimony. They're going to present testimony from Kit's daughter saying that Joan threatened to ruin him in his military career. Remember that?
Right.
If he left her. Other people testifying here, Pam's coworker, this woman here said that she testified regarding statements that Pam made that she was afraid to leave her house for the holidays because if she did, Martin would be in her house waiting for her when she got back. She told everybody this shit. She further testified that Pam also said she believed Martin would hurt her, and if anything happened, that's your guy right there.
Clearly, yeah.
So the defense team, their big thing is they try to get the images of Elijah forensically analyzed to see because they have those pictures. Yeah. And they look bad. So if you can say that Joan fabricated that, then she's capable of anything, is basically what they're trying to do.
Okay.
She likes to frame this guy, and we're saying he's framed, so 1 + 1 = 2.
Sure.
So, and 1 × 1 = 1. Sorry, Terrence Howard, but that's how it works. The resulting analysis was unable to determine definitively when or where the photos were taken. Big deal. It doesn't matter. There was also questions about the reliability of timestamp data related to emails Jones sent that contained the images. They said, while the content may show injuries, there's nothing visual in the pictures validating date and time without the camera being submitted and the time verified as accurate. These pictures should not be used and should not have been used as evidence. So basically, they said the time on a camera can be easily skewed or changed. That's his defense team saying that. Here's his ex-wife's work boss here. So Kit presented testimony from Joan's work supervisor, Lisa, who said that Joan was strangely excited and almost happy in the immediate aftermath of the murders. Joan's statement about the murders and other behavior disturbed this Lisa Petrie to the point where she reported Joan to the police.
Oh?
I think she was happy her husband was going to go to prison because she thought he was a dick. Another thing here, Kit presents evidence about a month after the murders that Joan brought Pam's cell phone to an AT&T store, claiming she found it in the yard of her residence in Elkton, Kentucky, which is 10 miles away.
Right.
When Harmon returned the phone to AT&T, it had been reset to factory settings.
Oh.
So because she tried to get a phone hooked up, that means that she killed her.
And it was reset to factory settings, which you do that to get it going. Yeah,
anytime. He also is trying to say that Joan carries a .45 Glock pistol.
Oh.
Really? That's a big gun.
Yeah.
Most ladies don't carry a .45. Most petite blonde ladies don't carry a .45 just because of the kick on that thing is.
Lesson, you got a lot of trauma in your past, and you don't want that shit happening again. That's a big gun to carry, though.
Even then, you might not be able to control it if you weigh $120. Yeah. That's a big gun. So, and also they say that her boyfriend was, quote, in the area on the day of the murders of Kentucky. Okay. So, Kit further attempts to cast doubt on the integrity of the investigation because Joan was romantically involved with William Stokes, who was related to Ed Stokes, who was a sheriff's deputy. Related, not his brother. So because she fucked a cop's cousin, that means that the whole police force is going to frame a man. Going to frame a major in the Army because she fucked the cop's cousin. She must have fucked him good.
Next time I have any police interaction, I'm just going to scream that. I've been framed.
I'm framed. Framed. Hey, it works for tons of people, at least in the public eye.
I've been framed.
Yeah. But you have no idea how much that does in the public eye, though.
Yeah.
If you say you're framed, there's so many people that just believe that. That's because people have been framed, but they think that everybody's framed then. So it's crazy. And especially if you're in whatever group that they like, that's also going to be part of it.
Should have said that to that cop in Texas.
Damn it. I've been framed. I had the cruise control on 77, I swear.
Cadillac framed me.
Framed me. Yes. That's fucking funny. So now the wounds, the prosecution's theory of, they said the wounds on Cal were made with military-like precision.
Oh.
And the words are very carefully chosen. In Pam's case, they said a shot to the brain or the heart would have been enough to kill her instantly. The fact that there were multiple shots indicates that it wasn't, the defense is saying it wasn't quite as precise of a shooting as the prosecution claimed. In the case of Ed Danzero, investigators found 2 different areas outside, separated by some 60 yards that contained his blood. He wasn't killed instantly. Since both Pam and Ed's bodies had been mostly consumed in the fire, there's no way to know how many shots might have been into their bodies. What the prosecution claimed was military-like precision was more likely a chaotic stream of gunfire. The gunshots to the brain and heart were probably fired after both had become incapacitated by shots elsewhere in their bodies. Ed had multiple bullet fragments in his skull. So they said Pam's official cause of death was multiple shots to the torso, and Ed's cause of death was multiple gunshots to the head. They said besides the bullet fragments, an examination of Ed Danzero's remains revealed the presence of a metal plate attached to a leg bone. His girlfriend, Sally Jackson, confirmed he had a metal plate in his leg, the result of a skiing accident. Now, Kit testifies.
Really?
He has to. His whole case is it's a huge conspiracy against me.
I've been framed.
Yeah, I've been framed. So if you're going to say that, you got to go up there and be hella believable. Let's just say that. So they said, Chris, did you murder these 3 people?
He said, no.
No, sir, I did not.
Oh really?
No contraction. Which he's also a military guy, and they don't like contractions quite as much. That's not official enough for them. They continued questioning. They said, did you have someone else murder these 3 people? He said, no. They said, are you behind this whole thing? And he said, no. I think the evidence and the expert testimony has shown that. He said that the prosecution in the case believes he did it, stating that he's been in jail for, quote, 768 days and 5.5 hours.
And the hours, shit.
And the hours, just to show how, on top of everything he is. They then asked him about his military dog tags and the dog tag that had been collected as evidence from the Phillips home. There was one of his dog tags was found in the home over there.
Okay.
That's not great.
No.
He denied that the dog tag on a string collected from the Phillips home was his, explaining, even though, it had all his info, explaining all his dog tags had always been on breakaway chains, came in pairs, and had rubber boots, meaning the case around it, a little like the license plate holder, which he said were pieces of rubber that covered the edges to prevent them from glaring or making constant fucking jingling noises. He specifically stated he would never have placed his dog tags on a string and that they had always been kept on a metal breakaway chain. He said no soldier would do that, especially a white string, but they wouldn't put it on a string at all. Yeah, but you're not in combat. You're in Pembroke, Kentucky. I get if you're in the field, you wouldn't do that. But
you work for American Airlines.
Yeah, you're not. There's no counterinsurgency here. This is fuck are you talking about? He added that also anyone can get a dog tag made anywhere or ordered online. So, anybody can do that. He said that also, they said, why was your alarm set for 1:15 a.m.?
Why?
Okay. He said, well, you see what happened was what happened was...
I like to jog.
No. I had a new kerosene heater that I recently bought to warm my house.
Uh-huh.
So the heater was new, so he wanted to make sure it was running correctly and safely. So basically, he said he didn't know if he had to refuel it in the middle of the night or anything, didn't know about it. So he set his alarm for 1:15 so he could check on the kerosene heater
1:15.
and then go back to sleep. 1:15.
Quarter after 1, yeah.
He said, I think that was the first night I was running the new heater, so I was a little concerned about it, obviously. Yeah. So I would usually set my alarm for November through March and during the night to go check on it at least once to refill it and make sure everything was going all right.
1:15.
That's convenient.
In the middle of the night.
Yep, he said he checked, after he checked the new heater that night, he went back to sleep. He said that also he'd been on the Phillips property several times to target shoot his guns with Cal Phillips, which is true. We know that. He also confirmed during his testimony that his ex-wife, who the defense has suggested may have committed the murders instead of him, had also fired his guns behind the Phillips home. He recalled Cal Phillips asking him to help run a concealed carry permit class, but that he didn't have the time or money to do it, but he encouraged his wife to take part in it. He said, I encouraged Joan to do it, and I think Joan, Ed, and some other people did it, and I think they actually did it in his backyard. You would know if there was a firing range going on.
That's what I was going to say. Like the amount of rounds that these people absorbed, how would nobody fucking hear all that?
You know, it seems like a lot.
Yeah.
He also said the night that that they separated, him and Joan, he said the two of them got in an argument. And that she had been yelling loud enough for the neighbors to hear. He said she started yelling at me some more, and finally I got to the point where I was like, look, I talked to you about this before. I'm done. I want a divorce. And he said she acted, quote, she acted violently and told me straight up, the first thing that came out was, if you divorce me, I'll ruin your career. I know how to do it. So he continued to testify that night, deputies were called to the home by both of them, both he and Joan, to intervene in the dispute. Following the dispute, he said that Harmon issued an emergency protective order against him. The judge later ruled in favor of Kit, he said, after Harmon failed to meet the burden of proof of the threat of domestic violence. During his testimony, Martin also confirmed that during the court-martial that Joan and Cal began against him. You know, they're against him basically, but that he and his defense counsel subpoenaed Cal as he was a key witness, and he said he at this point intended to call Cal as a witness for him. Yeah, he said my private investigators had interviewed Calvin, and we have his audio that was actually played on Channel 4 Nashville, and he denied all that. He was key for me to disprove the lead prosecutor in the court-martial there. So he said that's why at that point he was my most important witness.
Yeah, nobody's more upset about this than me.
I'm so upset. Kit also testified he'd never owned the type of ammunition that was found to have killed Calvin, the G2 Research RIP 45 caliber. When they mentioned that the prosecution's firearms expert testified that the .22 caliber bullets could have been fired by any of Kit's weapons.
Okay.
Kit replied that his guns didn't fit them. That's what he said. Well, my gun, those don't fit my gun. They asked Kit if he disagreed with the ballistics expert, and Kit said he remembered hearing the expert say that they didn't match, and that the truth was that the conclusions about the bullets were none of Kit's guns could be excluded, meaning they could be his guns. Yeah. They shared similar rifling characteristics as test bullets fired from his guns, but that the expert could not match the guns. He continued to testify that on the night of November 19th, after he and his lawyer and private investigator learned of the murders, the two advised him to move the Glock that he usually kept in his truck into his safe out of fear that Joan might do something.
He keeps a gun in the truck? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Even if he's not in the truck, doesn't even take it in the house.
Wow.
Finally, he testified that on the night of November 18th, he spent the day after coming home from work at Fort Campbell celebrating his and Laura Spencer's anniversary by watching TV, eating dinner, and spending time together at home.
Nice guy.
Well, you could have done all that and got up at 1:15. That's the point. That's the whole fucking point. Now, during cross-examination here, I bet they couldn't wait to get their fucking claws into him.
Yeah.
They asked him when he learned the court-martial against him came as a result of what Harmon and Cal Phillips turned into the laptop. He said, I didn't find that out until much later. I was just informed that there was a laptop. I had background information showing that it actually hadn't been an Army laptop since 2007 and belonged to a unit in Maryland, which I had never been to, but I tried to provide that. They asked him if that didn't stop the court-martial. It continued. So he said, they said, so you knew that Joan Harmon, with the help of Cal Phillips, not only turned over the laptop that was found in belongings that had been in your house, turned it into the FBI, but also that Cal had provided a photograph of Joan Harmon's son showing bruises and so forth. He replied stating he didn't know any of that information for several years, but added that he knew Joan was obviously behind it. Obviously.
Has to be.
They said, you at some point said that you hired private investigators who specifically went to interview Cal Phillips. And he said later on, yeah. They said, so, they were asking him he was saying that Cal was going to testify for him again. They said, so it wasn't that you thought he would be favor of your, because they said Martin originally stated he needed Cal to discredit Harmon and Garrett, but later confirmed that discrediting Cal was only a small part of his importance as a witness. So they said, so it wasn't that you thought it would be favorable to you. The effort was to discredit him. And he said, that's what the attorneys put down there, but we also had the private investigator interview. So now he's saying two different things. Yeah. They wanted him to testify so they could discredit him to get rid of all the evidence, but he's saying, no, he was going to testify for me.
For me, right.
Sounds like he takes something that very small and makes it into something that would be helpful for him and that he would like it to be.
Yeah.
They said, you heard the pathologist testify that both Ed Denzerau and Pam Phillips were murdered with .22 caliber bullets, any of which could have been fired in any one of either of the two .22 caliber pistols you owned or the .22 caliber Smith & Wesson rifle. And he said, not my rifles or pistols, and that's what the experts say. And the prosecutor said, actually, the .22 bullets could have been fired from either of those guns.
Yeah.
And he said, they weren't. Okay, but you just said, see what I mean? They said it might have been, and we can't confirm it. So he said, that means they wasn't. Done.
Not mine.
He just extrapolates something that's better for him. So in closings, his lawyers continue to say Cal was on his side. Joan was the one who did this. And the prosecutors are like, Jesus fucking Christ, how much circumstantial evidence do you need? This is a lot, man. So the verdict comes in. He is found guilty of everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Across the board. Sentencing comes around. Oh, boy. You, sir, may fuck off 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole.
It's over.
A life sentence for arson. 20 years for attempted arson. 20 years for each count of burglary. 5 years each for each count of tampering with physical evidence, for a total sentence of life without parole.
Yeah. Why don't they give him fucking littering for where he parked that car?
That's what I mean. Anything else? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think his emissions tag was out of date, I think, on that. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they had did that. So the reactions are here. The prosecution claims that Ed Denzerau and Pam Phillips were just collateral damage.
Yeah. They said the reason he was there. Yeah.
No, the families in the Pembroke County community have endured a profound loss. While this verdict in no way eases that pain, I hope they in some way find some peace and comfort today. So there's juror number 5, by the way, that this book talks to. Juror number 5 is a very similar guy to Kit. Career military guy. Same thing. They both did helicopter flight training at Fort Rucker, Alabama.
Yeah.
But juror number 5 was in Nam. That's the only difference. He was in Vietnam. He's an older guy where he flew a Cobra combat helicopter.
Oh
my God. Yeah. So he was 74, and they talked to him about all this. And in the book, they're trying to convince him that was wrong. They said when confronted with the testimony that there was no evidence that the barrel had been altered on the gun, meaning he claimed it could have been switched out after the murders, something not discussed at trial. He also agreed with the prosecution that the manufacturer of the bullet could have used different shell casing during the assembly process, which the prosecution explained could be why the metals in the shell casing didn't match the metal combination normally used for the RIP rounds. As for the .22 caliber evidence not conclusively matching any of the defendant's weapons, he said that didn't matter to him because they could have just as easily matched them.
Sure.
So they said the dog tag evidence was of concern for him. He said he told his fellow jurors how it was routine to separate dog tags with one tag around the neck and one tag placed in the shoe.
Okay, yeah.
He said, just as Kit had demonstrated on the witness stand. He followed that up by telling his fellow jurors that he was aware from people serving in Iraq and Afghanistan that soldiers would sometimes wear their dog tags on something other than a chain due to the desert heat.
Okay.
Because it's hot metal. A string is actually, and it's just uncomfortable. He had no explanation of how the dog tag ended up on a bookshelf next to the victim's phone and wallet. Commenting that the fact it wasn't found until much later indicated to him it was unlikely to have been planted evidence. Some of the other evidence, they said the DNA testing came back for Ed Danzero, blah, blah, blah. He keeps going. He said, I'm glad they got it straightened out, is what he said. He said the security camera footage didn't cover the front of the house. When asked about the front door, he agreed with the defense that the front door was unusable, but claimed the defendant could have gone out through a window. Leaving the house by an open window wasn't something that was ever discussed at trial, but worth considering. So basically, he's just saying that they're trying to go over him. He goes, no, I thought he was guilty, and, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Once deliberations began, the first task was to choose a foreperson. They got some other guy. The next job was to do a poll, and they said after the first poll, several people voted guilty, a few were undecided, and at least one voted not guilty, is what he said. He implied that his explanation about why the dog tag might have been on a string, he thinks helped sway a few votes.
Okay.
They were like, he would have never kept it on a string. Well, he's a military guy, so we can believe him. So he said he's only had it on a chain, and he was like, nope, you'll separate him and do that. So he said after that process and further discussion, another poll would be taken. The number of jurors willing to vote guilty increased. And he said from there, just a couple more votes, and then snowballs from there. Now, once he's in prison, he directs his family. He calls his family on the phone and directs them to find a box hidden beneath the stairs of his previous home in North Carolina.
Jesus, this is scary.
That contained weapons the deputies believed were used to kill the victims. He made phone calls from prison. He asked his sisters to retrieve this box under the stairs of the Raleigh house. And I guess he and Laura Spencer had broken up and the house was for sale. They said, quote, he was definitely urgent that she find it. They know this because they're recording his phone calls. He's in prison. So Smith said that when one of the cops, when he and a fellow deputy arrived at the house in Raleigh to find out what was in the box, they were able to gain entrance, but the box was missing from the hidden location.
Already gone.
They was already gone. So he said, I can't imagine what you felt when, this is a question to an interviewer asked him, when you opened it up. You'd come all this way and it was gone. What did you think? And he said, I thought it was time to get to work.
Yeah.
So according to this investigative report, he compiled the following trip. Following the trip to Raleigh, he began to try and track down Martin's family, speaking with his sister, Juliet, and her husband, Keith. At first, they denied having any knowledge of it. But an hour later, the investigative report shows that they got back in touch with Smith and told him the truth.
Oh, we've been thinking about it.
In a recorded call between the Andes and this investigator, he admits he removed the box from within the stairs, saw the .22 AR-15 and a long box inside.
Oh, my God.
He said, the husband said, I don't even remember. The gun freaked me out. I just put the shit back. And the sister said, we did not ask for any of this. We don't want to be involved in any of this.
He made us do it. This sucks.
No, while he said he didn't know what was in the long box, the deputies would later learn it was a silencer. They believe that both the AR and the silencer were used in the murders.
Really?
Wow. Deputies then said, well, if he put the box back under the stairs, why was it gone? And according to this, they said it had been picked up by Emma Spencer, the daughter of his ex-fiancée. He got his ex-fiancée Laura's daughter to do it. So they said, how do you address the elephant in the room with these people that they are now passing off weapons from a man convicted of triple murder? The cop said, until I had retrieved the items, I had to play in between everybody's emotions. He said once he got all of this, she said that he said he first contacted Emma Spencer, who testified on Kit's behalf during the trial, but she wasn't cooperative. He said at first she's acting like she doesn't know anything about it. She's very standoffish. I told her I don't want to get in any trouble. I don't want you to get in any trouble being in possession of something that's regulated by the ATF. And, she said, I'm at work. I have to go right now and all that kind of thing. Then at one point she said, okay, I moved it. My neighbor has it.
Wow.
And they tracked it down to a neighbor who confirmed he was given the .22 caliber AR-15, but that Spencer still had the silencer. She kept that herself. Yeah. Interesting here.
Those are quiet enough. If somebody puts a silencer on that, dude, you can snuff out an entire family with those things and not hear Pete. That's crazy.
They then asked if Emma could instead turn the silencer over to him, and she showed up, and the cop said he wasn't pleased. He said, in a nice way to put it, she said, here it is, now get out of North Carolina and never come back. She was rude to them, but they got the silencer. Yeah. And he said, well, I just said, thank you for bringing this to me. This kept you out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you can't have that, ma'am.
I can absolutely charge you as an accessory after the fact if I felt like it.
And also, you're in possession of a fucking suppressor with no stamp. You are in federal, that's a crazy charge. You don't want that, ma'am.
No, you definitely don't. So they communicated through this daughter through text, and she wrote to the news, if any information I give you is to discredit me or Kit, you can kindly piss off.
Ma'am, you are holding a silencer.
You're holding a silencer and you're not British, so
you're a criminal. Stop saying
put that shit in your pocket. Jesus. So the appeal, he argues that they admitted hearsay statements. They allowed his ex-wife and stepson to refuse to testify, excluded certain alleged alternative perpetrator evidence, admitted evidence of a bullet casing that was discovered by a lay witness, and excluding evidence that the same witness failed a polygraph examination, denying his motion for a directed verdict on the arson and murder charges, allowing his convictions on 2 counts of first-degree burglary to stand in violation of double jeopardy principles. So the arson charges, he's got a point, because a deceased person cannot occupy a building. Only a live person can occupy a building. The court has specifically held a defendant cannot be convicted of first-degree arson when the Commonwealth failed to produce sufficient evidence that the person inside the building was actually alive at the time of the fire and that the defendant was aware of that fact. Okay. Has to be both. Yeah. They have to be alive, and the guy has to know he's alive. They're alive in there. They said they point to the evidence of the bodies of Pam and Ed Denzero, who were badly charred. The Commonwealth refers to the evidence of a fire discovered near Cal's body. Thus, the Commonwealth argues the evidence was inconclusive, so the jury could reasonably infer that they were alive when the fire started. That's not enough, though. They said, having carefully reviewed the record and arguments, we reverse Martin's arson and attempted arson convictions and otherwise affirm everything. So, life without, cocksucker.
Fine.
Keep it going.
So you're not a flamer.
So they have all of this shit here. Now, the book is called I Will Ruin You, The Twisted Truth Behind the Kit Martin Murder Trial. And it's by Emilio Corsetti III. And here is just a quick little thing, a synopsis that they say here. Guilty until proven innocent. The true story of Christian Kit Martin, the former Army major and airline pilot convicted of a triple homicide. The true story of of the former Army major and airline pilot charged in a triple murder and the web of lies that led to his problematic conviction.
Are you kidding?
Yep, no, swear to God.
Emilio.
They said, why were so many observers convinced of his innocence? The evidence against Kit Martin consisted primarily of a dog tag with the defendant's name on it and a shell casing that was identified as having been fired from his gun. Yeah, that's what more do you want?
His identification.
That's called evidence. That's called evidence, is what that's called.
His identification and murder weapon tools were there. What the
That was it. They said both pieces of evidence were supplied to the police by family members of 2 of the victims months after the crime. The defense suggested both pieces of evidence had been planted to frame the defendant. Right. The dog tag, for example, was not an official military dog tag. It was discovered on a bookshelf next to the victim's phone and wallet, and it was on a string, which the one guy explained away pretty easily here. They said, lastly, Kit Martin had alibi witnesses and security camera footage that proved he could not have committed any of the murders. That's not true, though, because they found work records and stuff showed that, no, he had plenty of time to do that. Yeah. So anyway, that went on. Then Kit, because this causes this giant, like, weird fervor here. By the way, Kip right now is DOC number 318-956, serving life without parole at the Little Sandy Correctional Complex.
Yeah.
And this isn't. And then he wrote an article in 2016. Right. By the way, this is before the murder conviction, before he was even charged with it, while he was at Fort Leavenworth for 90 days.
Oh, yeah.
Remember for the other shit
for the kitty stuff.
It's called NCFM hero Christian Kit Martin, quote, the real expendables, falsely accused military men.
Oh.
He then has a picture of Joan here, and it says felon, check, abuser, check, fraudster, check, liar, check, murderer, maybe.
Yeah, well, she's hot, Jesus.
She's a pretty lady.
Yeah.
So they said, he goes, I'm not going to read his whole thing because it is propaganda, honestly. It's like fucking, there's a certain area of the internet right now where this is the hot propaganda, and I ain't going to give this shit a fucking breath of air because it's bullshit. He basically says, yes, let me look through this. Yes, court martials, they said, are up 550% since 2007, he says. Convictions are similarly growing exponentially. Army prisoners are up from 119 in 2010 to 593 in 2014. That's because they made a concerted effort to fucking prosecute criminals. The whole point was there was decades and decades and decades of fucking documented shit that said the Army doesn't do shit when people do things to other soldiers. Constant. Rapes don't get prosecuted.
Yeah.
Assaults don't get prosecuted. So they said, let's start prosecuting those things.
Sure.
It wasn't that they just were making those up. They just were actually prosecuting crimes. Yeah. They said this is due primarily to false sexual assault epidemic, he says.
False.
This is politically motivated narrative almost identical to what's happening in our universities. You know who this asshole is now. He's trying to use political things for his own advantage, for his own scummy crimes, and it's fucking pathetic.
Hiding behind that fucking uniform. What a twat.
U.S. veteran men are now the new political prisoners of the world. The real expendables. Mm-hmm. Wow. This is fucking wild. After years of working to earn rank and respect, these combat veterans are now being treated like children and guarded by children, too. Most guards are teenage privates straight out of high school and basic training. Yeah, because it's a shit job nobody wants to give it to.
I don't care who has the job.
When I was a teenage private, I would have been too humbled to even speak to a real veteran, such as my current brothers and I are brothers I am confined with now. I was in awe of real soldiers that had actually fought in war, men who were paratroopers, blah, 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 blah. He wants the fucking guards in there to be in awe of him.
Right.
Well, yeah, they would be. If you weren't a fucking piece of shit, they would be in awe of you.
If you weren't a murderer and convicted of simple assault on a child.
Yeah. That's like, imagine that. I respect a lot of people, but if I was guarding them because they killed three fucking people, I don't respect you anymore. Fuck you.
Yeah, yeah.
I respect you less because I'm trying to become this, and you have now denigrated the fucking image of this. Thanks.
You sullied my uniform, you cocksucker.
Yeah, no one should dislike this guy more than military people.
Yeah,
he is disgracing their fucking uniform, not other people. Anyway, so it's fucking wild. Anyway, they say that he goes on to really go off on the sexual assault thing.
Really?
Like, it's fucking wild, some of the shit he said. These poor soldiers, blah, 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 blah. The machine spares know this. When you have an epidemic, You must show your solutions working. When you're spending $257 million a year to convict veterans and building $95 million prison, you have to have a lot of hammers. You must find nails to justify those hammers. I bet you don't mind when they build fucking prisons and put fucking civilian criminals in them, though. You're happy about it, probably, because that's where most of you go to fucking work after you're done.
But also,
not most of you, but a lot of you, cops and prison guards and shit.
He's acting like a soldier and a veteran doesn't commit crimes sometimes.
And if they do, the respect of what they've done should wipe it all out.
They should get a nice prison where people are in awe of them.
He goes through all this and says, maybe that's why 22 vets a day take their own lives.
Oh, don't pull that
you
bullshit.
Fucking piece of shit. God damn it, I hope somebody fucking... Oh,
yeah,
you piece of shit. Fuck you. Okay, I'm done with this asshole. There you go, everybody. Pembroke, Kentucky. So I was 98% positive he did it. Then I read that. Now I'm 3,000% positive he did it. Go fuck yourself. Right in your ass, Kit.
He's a bad man.
Your dog tags, your medals, and your Apache helicopter right up your fucking asshole. And
he really wants accommodations for nothing.
For nothing. He's just for doing his job, which, yes, thank you for your service. Yeah. No thank you for everything else you've done in life. Fuck
every
you.
day he needs a blowjob for what he's done.
Even by prison guards.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. That's that. Check that out. Definitely rate and review on any of the podcast apps you're listening on. Please shutupandgivememurder.com. Tickets for live shows are right there. Pittsburgh, February 7th. You're up first. Columbus, you're sold out, babe.
Hell yeah.
Love you. Thank you, Columbus. Yeah. We are going to definitely, I think we probably have comps. There might be 10 more tickets we'll release, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Pittsburgh, you're up next. A lot of the others are selling out too, so get your tickets right goddamn now. Even if you want to go in December, November, get your tickets now. Do that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all your bonus materials. $5 a month or above gets you a huge back catalog and new shit every other week, including this week, Crime and Sports. Travis Rudolph, an NFL player who just finished up a murder trial, multiple murders, I believe, too. And then for Small Town Murder, West Memphis 3, baby. Part 2. Figure out what the fuck happened there. Can't wait. That is patreon.com/CrimeInSports. Also follow us on social media at Small Town Murder on Instagram, Small Town Pod on Facebook. Now, Jimmy, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever, ever try to use whatever uniform they were wearing to justify horrible crimes. Hit me with them right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Andrew Newman, Mark and Chrissy Such. Hey, happy birthday. No, happy anniversary. It's the 32nd
anniversary.
32nd, Jesus. Good.
Happy birthday-versary.
So many. I could never. Matthew Reed, thank you, bud. That was very nice. Happy Hour got a mortgage in Texas, but right now he's in Albuquerque. That's too bad. I'm sorry about it. I hope you get home to, I guess, a better place.
That's a lateral move.
At least you're home.
At best. But home is always a positive move.
Joe Gleason won the Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder Fantasy League, James. Good for you.
Well, Joe. Then, congrats to you. We should give him something.
They did. He won money.
No. From us, though.
I mean, we just did.
We'll give him something.
We'll find something.
I'm going to find something in the office to send
somebody, and we'll send you something. And also, Tracy Liquia. Tracy, thank you. You went above and beyond, and that deserves something.
Tracy.
All of you, thank you so much for what you're doing. You're amazing people. Other producers this week, Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, 12-year-old Lucas Martell, 12-year-old. What are you doing listening to this?
I don't know if that's great or bad for your future, but either way, we love you, Lucas.
Luke? God damn it.
Goddamn. Tell your parents. Maybe they won't want this. Or don't tell your parents. We'll be like your Judas Priest or something, you know what I mean?
Did your parents buy you an iPhone and they don't even know you do this?
He plays it quiet at night and shit.
On his fucking AirPods.
Flashlight under the sheet tent.
Oh, Lucas, I don't know if you're a good kid or a bad kid. I can't tell. I hope
you're fucking great. Rock on, Lucas.
Yeah, don't
Hail
break
Satan.
laws.
That's all.
Janice Hill, Andrew Bailey, Will with no last name, Brandon Camarota, Camarota, Sammy Wright, Jordan Kippen, Carmen McTurner. It's Russ, man. Chris Pope, Sarah with no last name, Amber Cranmer, Olivia Horniak. Is that right? That is.
Horniak.
Grace, 1, 2, 3, 4. Crystal Volts, Elizabeth Van D. Velde, Dwanya Kelly, Ellen Medley, Michael Baird, Zach Chipman, DM, D like the person, DEE like Mr. Brown, but with the letter M. Andrew Gilliam.
Brown and his pump.
Is Andrew Gilliam? Do we know? Is that the? Do we
sounds
know Andrew
very.
Gilliam?
No, we know.
Is it the Reverend?
Good Reverend?
Yes.
We know the Good Reverend. That's a different Gilliam.
It's a different Gilliam, isn't it? It's not Andrew.
Different Gilliam. Yeah. No, it's John. The Good Reverend Jonathan Gilliam.
That's it. Yeah, this is Andrew Gilliam. I think it's
not a reverend. Not a reverend at all.
Was there a Gilliam? Armand Gilliam.
Armand Gilliam, the NBA player. That's a different, totally different guy.
All right. Well, Gilliam, thank you. Mike with no last name. Megan Dallaire, Stephen Baker, Beth Kuffel, Carla
Stephen
McGee.
Baker, the ex-Giants wide receiver. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker.
That's the guy.
Yes, number 85 himself. Fuck yeah, Stephen Baker.
Carla McGee, Manders with no last name. Mitchell Forrester, Justine Rogers, Karen Lowe, Alex with no last name. Bethan Williams, Beth Hurst. Yeah, Matt Helmers, and Addie Barreau maybe, Vaughn Robinson, Linda Hefner, Hugh's daughter, I imagine. Jesus. Would Hugh have a daughter named Linda? Is he that old? Carrie Bargain?
He died at like 114. I think he was that old.
Ryan McCarty, Tony McKay, Bowtie Mouse, Joseph Lehman, Bradley Myers, Erica Maxon, Ali Mac Attack, and Stroke Malone. What the fuck? Nicola Everson, Julianne Cabrera, Amy Hagerman, Kristen Camille, Connie Walters, Mary Kremer watched her, Laura Freeze.
Watched her do what?
Watched her.
I watched her. I can't get sanitarium out of my head.
Watched her Kramer.
Watched her Kramer.
Laura Freeze, Jonathan Bird, Elena with no last name, Julianne Beck, Walter Bubba Brooks III, Ann Robinson, Tracy with no last name, Tony Maldonado, Natasia, Stacy with no last name, Barb Pressler, Shizuka with no last name, Morgan Bowling, Lacey Lynn, Courtney Delaire, I said that, Monica Hammonds, Mads, what did she donate twice? Courtney, damn it.
Courtney, so nice she did it twice.
Unbelievable. Mads Wilkins, Ellen Elian with no last name, Tarla Ballou. What is it?
Gonzalez?
Yes, Elian Gonzalez.
He's back.
Bastard who got himself a raft. Melinda Johnson, Camilla Rodriguez, DePino, Carson with no last name, Mike Sipko, Paige Burris. All right, Zach Kell with no last name. That is a last name, Kell. Jesus. Colleen Connolly.
James Petrogallo with no last name.
Christine MacArthur with no last name, Taylor Strouch, Karen Napoli, James Gilstrap, Gilstrap, that's okay, Ansley Wimbish, Ryan Critchett, Abby Hubble, Madeline Kacharski, Nick Legault, Joseph Reynolds, Sweet Biggins, good for you, Alexandra Smith, Ian Boxell, Joseph Payne, Mike Forehand, Charles Hafter. Georgie Dunn, Elta Abbott, Lauren Coulter, Christian F. Lindsay with no last name, Rather Not, Hannah Sonnenberg, Patricia Dishman, Charity with no last name, M and D, Chris with no last name, Sierra with no last name, Rob Bossman, Spencer Davis, Kira Lee, Michael King, Nick Kiefer, Louise Falzerano, Dave Clark, Hannah Souza, Amanda Enright. What? Is that right? Yes, it is right. It is. All right. Papa Tanku, Jason with no last name, Larry Barnhart, Virgil Casanova, Mike Manchak, Prophet Black, Angie Green, Zach Jackson, Sarah Vand, Hallie Vieira, Gina Rodriguez, Laura Wilkinson, Diane Schneider, Amy Mackey, Luis Martinez, Steve Fullard, David Scott Ryan, Jute Boot, Mary Cass, Laurel Mitchell, Clay Billingsley, Amy L., Erica with no last name, Mike LaChase, Terry Trufant, Jessica Boucher, Krista Isabel, Reyes with no last name. That is a last name. Jeffrey Gregg,
yes,
Jana Matthews, Nathan L., and every one of our patrons. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Appreciate all that you do for us. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we can't thank you enough for that. Patreon is the lifeblood of this show. Yeah. Thank you for what you do for us, and we will keep that shit cranking for you. Yeah. Thank you. So do that. Keep coming back. Tell your friends. Keep hanging out with us. You want to follow us on social media, shutupandgivememurder.com. You can find all that shit right there. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.